Information is power.
Welcome to the Information Man Show, everybody. Peace to you and love to you out there. Yes. The Information Man Show. Tell the truth, everybody.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
All right, everybody. Peace. What's up, everybody? Peace. Welcome to the Information Man Show. All right, everybody. What's up? This is the Information Man and the Information Man Show. I'm glad to be here. Glad to see you all coming in through the chat room. Step it away. I hope everybody is having a great Saturday, whether it be night, evening, wherever you are in the world. Once again, I want to thank everybody that's been coming over to my second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. The way it is right now, it looks like I finally got a schedule. I'm going live on Mondays, Tuesdays, take a break on Wednesdays, go live on a Thursday, Friday night. Just depends what's going on in the news. And I'm broadcasting over there very heavily, so it's a different style and format. The Information Man Show, as you already know anyway, is primarily a weekend channel, in particular Sundays. But today I'm going Saturday. I have a special guest, Guye Nollywood Jr., who's on with me. He is Pan-African. He is Black Power personified. We're going to talk about a lot of different issues. We're going to talk about the future of Black people, what is happening with Black people today in the atmosphere that we're living in the world that we're living in America, throughout the world. I'm gonna pick his brain, get his thoughts about some of the latest things in the news. You know, like like Bill Cosby, right? That's been all the rage right now. Bill Cosby and the fact that he is out of prison because they screwed up, and this is how they screwed up. They violated his rights. And that's the truth, whether you like it or not. His rights were violated, and now he is free. Okay. So I'm going to ask him questions about that. Then there's a thing called critical race theory that I'm going to talk to the brother about, which we know that race is not a theory, but these are some of the slick little words that white folks have come up with, because this is a term that they used in college. And so all across the country, they are in denial of history. They don't want the true history to be taught because they've been lying to themselves all these years and lying to our kids as well. And that's a subject that I will be doing a separate video about, particularly on this channel, if not the podcast channel. If you are over here for the first time, definitely do me the favor and subscribe to the channel. Be a part of what we've got going on over here. I want to thank you for watching. Like and comment, and I want you to subscribe as well, because that would be great if you could do that. And then go right ahead and share the video. Okay, share the video in your social media. And if you are a content creator, go ahead and share it throughout your community tab as well. It won't hurt you. Thank you for doing that. If you can, like the video, because that helps to push this video through the algorithms of YouTube, whatever the hell they are these days. It's very laughable if you ask me. Very laughable. Sometimes those algorithms are funny style. And if you can, again, like I said, go ahead and subscribe. It won't hurt you.
You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel. And
I say thank you. I say thank you for doing that, because it really helps the channel. And thank you once more again. So what I want to do is I want to go back over here, put that overlay back on there like it should be. And I'm going to introduce the brother and bring him right on in right now. What can I say? This brother is a very deep brother. Very 100% real. He connected with me, and we've been talking, and we've been wanting to do something together. And I'm glad to have him here now on the program finally, to get into some of the issues that we need to talk about. So what we're going to do now, if all to do, is I'm going to give him a clap and have him come on in. All right, brother. Peace to you. Peace to you, brother Guye Nollywood Jr. Brother, let me unmute you. And how you doing, brother? Glad to have you here.
I'm good. I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it's glad to have you here. It's been a while. We've been trying to do this, but finally we're on here live. And let me do something real quick. Get us acquainted with each other a little bit closely like this. Man. Tell folks a little bit about yourself before we get started with the rapid fire questions that I'll be asking you. Let folks know a little bit about yourself, what you're about, what you stand for, and what brought you to YouTube. Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Definitely. Thank you. Wanted to say hotep to the chat. This is your brother, Guye Nollywood Jr., represent the RBG Nation. And I'm definitely a Pan-African. Meaning Pan means abroad. Definitely my ancestry is from Angola and Sierra Leone. Okay. So I tell people to take your DNA test, you know what I'm saying, and find out where you located. So I'm more of a I'm basically teach African consciousness. So okay. So to let people know where their roots at, you know, the African proverbs say, the tree can't survive without its roots. Mm-hmm. So I always like to teach history, but to teach the history where it won't be where, because every time I listen to other people's YouTube, like other YouTubers, they always talk about what the white man is doing. Okay, I want to talk about our history when we became warriors and fighters and family oriented. So I want to really bring that back. You know, that's that they don't really, a lot of YouTubers who so-called black conscious, they don't teach that. So I'll teach about us becoming warriors, and because they don't teach our history in media. They don't teach us about Queen Nzinga and who else, and all these other Queen Nanny, all these other warriors that fought, and before there was, before the when the Europeans came over there. So they don't teach a lot of that stuff. They don't show that, because we visual people, we like to see it. There's one thing about reading it, but actually see us fighting against the enemy. That's a big thing. And a lot of the times, what I try to do is to link what we're doing as Black people and what we were used to do in Africa. And there's a link. There's a strong link. Even the foods that we eat, there's a strong link. So I try to bring that together. So I try to reconnect to, you know, I talk to a lot of Black people, a lot of Black folks in the motherland. So try to bring us back together. Let's come back home. Now, I'm not saying, I'm not pushing this, go back to Africa, but like Malcolm X said, we just have to have a cultural link to our homeland. And that's what I'm pushing. Also, to remind you, I'm trying to help restore the Black family. And that's something that is not really pushed. So that is also the Trinity that the strong Trinity that come from Africa too, the black man, black woman, and child. Okay. So I'm just trying to rebuild and help rebuild the Black family again, because our family has been destroyed because of all this propaganda, all this racism and stuff like that. So that's what I teach, and that's what I promote.
Okay. When did you first, if you did say this, when did you first get involved in your activism? Because I remember as a kid growing up, you know, when you're in high school in this country, they lied to you about your history. Henceforth, this whole argument about critical race theory, and race is not a theory, ladies and gentlemen. We should stop using that word, actually, because that's the word that they use to be able to have this argument about our history, whether should be taught in the schools or not. I remember growing up that most of what we were talked about, most of our history was always, okay, we were slaves, and then Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and the Civil Rights Movement. And when I was just 15 years old in high school, I remember being so sick and tired of hearing that I had this feeling that there was more to it than just that. And that tells me, what I've learned is that as Black people, we got our hair, we got this melanin. It's an antenna to the universe. And the universe, brother, was telling me as young as 14 and 15 that, dude, there's more to this history than what they're teaching you. Because as Black people, when you're melanated, you're sort of in tune with the universe, right? You got the pineal gland, you got all these things going on, and you're so in tune that sometimes you know something is there more than what's being told to you. And that's because you are a universal child of God, and you've come from dark matter, and you're from this universe, and the universe is saying there's more to it than that. So that's kind of like what I think. It's like because melanin can absorb negative and positive energy. So anytime you ever experience going somewhere, going into a room, a house, or somewhere, and you feel like something doesn't feel right, I got to get out of here. Right. Right. A lot of times people say that's sixth sense. No, it's not your sixth sense. If you're a melanated brother and sister, that's your melanin speaking to you, letting you know something's not right, your antenna to the outer world. So that's kind of how I look at it. And so I knew there was a lot more. And we were talking earlier before we went on, when I learned about being Pan-African when I was in college. I got introduced to Pan-Africanism when I was in college. I got introduced to a lot of the Black studies heavy when I went to college at San Francisco State University. The thing about San Francisco State University that's so special, and I'm happy to be an alumni there, is that we are the first college in America to have an ethnic studies program. We were the first to introduce Black studies. All right, even before you start having historical Black colleges. And so I was privileged to learn from some of the best professors that were there. And I just remember when I got to the university, that's when I started getting introduced more heavy on Malcolm X, more heavy on Marcus Garvey, right? More heavy on all these different figures, you know? So I just wanted to say that to you, brother.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So when I first, you're absolutely right, because I wasn't really taught my history either growing up. I was taught about the Greek and Rome history, right? They ancient history. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Always.
The first time I would say that the first time that I learned African consciousness came from a Haitian brother. And he taught us on a low. I was in summer school, in high school. And he taught us about history in Africa. He was saying how black people back in those days how they used to clean their teeth, where paper come from. All that came from Africa. And I was like, wow. So I was really amazed about what I've heard. I was like, well, they never taught us that. When they talk about Dr. King, they only talk about one section of Dr. King. Dr. King, they don't tell you the revolution of Dr. King. Dr. King became almost a Malcolm X after Malcolm had passed away.
Right.
So they don't talk about that. Dr. King, before this what's his name? That Rustin guy, the homosexual Rustin guy, came on board, because he's the one who was putting that nonviolent crap in Dr. King's head. Dr. King had armed guards. His guards was well armed. So he was definitely for protection, make sure you protecting yourself, arming yourself. But he got caught up with this, listen to somebody else who was, and I think this guy, Rustin guy, I think he was a plant. So, but then Dr. King came around. Of course, he got assassinated. So they don't tell you the whole story about Dr. King. Go ahead.
Now you know the reason why Dr. King got assassinated. Remember when Dr. King was starting to make a transition. Right. Remember, people were saying he was the pacifist, while Malcolm X was more the aggressive type of revolutionary type of brother. Well, guess we know Dr. King was making a turn, and the first step in his turn was that he went back to Memphis to organize a movement, because he was going to go after Coca-Cola, Pepsi. Right. He was taking that movement in a different direction from it just being, of course it was about black folks, but Dr. King was saying, wait a minute, these corporations are killing us. And remember when he went to Memphis, because there were some black men that were sanitation workers who got crushed in the sanitation machine. And that's why King was making his move back there. And he said he was going to go after the corporations. They had to take King out at that point, because they were saying, he's not just sticking to the local issues of black people and civil rights. Now he's getting a broader issue and saying, wait a minute, these corporations are holding us back. These corporations are destroying us. And once Dr. King was changing and transforming potential, public policy, he had to go. Just like when if Malcolm X had stayed, this is my opinion, if Malcolm X had just stayed in Harlem and just talked in Harlem about black people and the issues, and he had never branched out to going over to Mecca and doing a pilgrimage, which he did not once, but he did twice. They tell us there was only one time. That's a lie. He did it twice. Okay, right. All right? But when he went over there, what did he say, brother? He united with all the different people in the continent of Africa. He was trying to unite the different countries together as one. And he also said he was going to go after the United States under human rights violations to sue them for what they have done. And the minute that he did that, that's when they had to say, we got to get rid of him. How do we get rid of him? Let's have people who look like him and have his same thought process kill him. That's where you get the mosque in New Jersey, right? And all of that. So they've always used black people to destroy us, and we need to wake up.
You are listening to Information Man. Please.
All right. I want to stop right there. I want to hear your thoughts, brother.
Now, you absolutely on point. I mean, a lot of the also too, most of these brothers was fighting for reparations, which I totally respect. And I think eventually Malcolm, Dr. King, when you hear Malcolm X and Dr. King, they was definitely on the same team. One thing I respect about Malcolm, one of the things I respect about Malcolm X, he said he was willing to work with any black organization. He was going to work with Dr. King. They was going to be on the same team. The government didn't want that. They wanted to keep the division. They wanted to keep those brothers fighting. But when these brothers was like, no, we could work together and we fight the same, because they was fighting for the same cause,
right?
Same purpose. So I think they was just like, no, we got it. Remember what the J. Edgar Hoover said, there will never be a black Messiah, unless we create one.
Right.
And they gave us Barack Obama, and they try to make it seem Barack Obama was this Messiah towards us. And what I think somebody has said, said Barack Obama was our reparations. Some silly. This is what the enemy had told us. So
right. If you go back and you look at the situation deeply, if you go to Chicago, I don't know if you're from Chicago, but if you go to Chicago and ask most real activists and black folks on the ground, and you say, hey, can you tell me about Obama's activism on the ground? A lot of the real hardcore activists in Chicago will say, Obama who?
Right.
Like I'm not saying that he didn't do anything in Chicago, but he wasn't doing hardcore activism, right? Because if you last time I checked, real hardcore activists don't go into politics. Why? Because if you go into politics, that you now be beholding to the system. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. You've had folks that were in the Black Panther Party, like the Bobby Seals of the world, not Bobby Seal, but Bobby Rush from Chicago, right? Who became a senator, right? You've had a few Black Panthers that have gone into politics, but guess what? How effective have they been as a politician? Do they still have that activist spirit? Last time I checked, Bobby Rush was upset because you had some of those yahoos that broke into his office, and he said they had the audacity to eat my popcorn. That's where we are with Black Panther Power. This is where we are with a Bobby Rush, a brother that was part of the Black Panther Party that they said was militant to the point that he's an older man now crying about the white man went in there and ate his popcorn doing their riots. What do you expect them to do? They're not going to have any respect for you. You should know that by now, right? And then we know, this is the thing too I want to bring up, brother. This is a misnomer. A lot of people are under this impression that the Black Panther Party was neutralized by J. Edgar Hoover because they were seen as a militant group, that they were dangerous because of the fact that they had the photographs with the guns. You had the incident in Sacramento, California, where they brought guns to the state capitol with no bullet in the chamber because that was the law. They followed the law. And people think, because they were militant and no, remember the Black Panther Party, ladies and gentlemen, had a food program. They had health program, immunization program, health program. That's why the Black Panther Party had to go, because they were doing that which the government was not doing for us, such as food programs, health, education, things of that nature. So they met the void as very young people in their 20s. And once they realize, oh my God, they're getting black folks off of drugs. They're giving them food programs. They're telling young black men and young black girls, be proud of yourself. They're raising their fists up. And they're also identifying us as the enemy. They've got to go. And they were our defense team to get the drug dealers out of the community and what have you. And once they destroyed our defense, the Black Panther Party, it made it much easier to neutralize our community, because what did they do? They infiltrated the Black Panther Party with agents of destruction to destroy us, destroy the Black Panther movement, because it was a movement that was really taking care of black people in the community, not just the militant stuff. Don't get caught up in that, because that's what they want you to focus on.
Right.
What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, man, I think one of the biggest things that the government felt threatened by was the food program. You're right about that. Because we was teaching our babies to be revolutionary. We was teaching our children to I would say to love themselves, right? To embrace their identity, to their nationality. The government want to control our children, and the Black Panthers they fought against that. And that's what that was the biggest threat, because if you have more control of the youth, they're the future. Right. So what they did, they had to because we was teaching our kids not only through food, but we was teaching about the history. We was teaching. I mean, we was coming back home, and they did not want that. So what they did, they throw, like you said, they infiltrated by pushing the drugs in the community, the guns, and they did it hard. Because not only they destroyed our children, they destroyed our women. Because if you affect the women, then our children will be messed up. You lock us up, and this is reason why they destroyed the black family. Because that was our first the black family. That's our first government.
Mm-hmm.
And when you strengthen that, we become unstoppable. And that's what they didn't want. It's all about trying to keep us enslaved. Slavery hasn't ended.
Right.
Slavery hasn't ended. They want to keep us in control. They want to keep us controlled. Because remember, we kept this. We're the ones that keep this country going. And without us, this country cannot function. This is the reason why they go into Africa now and taking all the resources
mm-hmm.
and corrupting these black leaders over there. So I'm saying we are the center of the planet. That's what I'm saying. Like we feed the planet, and without us, everybody dies. Everybody dies. So what do you do? They have to control black people, African people. They have to control us. And
right.
But you're right. That I think that because when I was watching what was that show, that movie that came out, Judas and the Messiah, something like that. What is the name of that movie?
I think it's Judas and Messiah, right?
Yes.
About the black.
Yes.
I think that's the one. I think
right.
That's it, brother. Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that was the first thing they said was, oh, they are teaching their children to hate us. You know, and like you said, they don't want that. They want to control our babies. And that's the thing. We have to keep that going because we know that's their weakness. We have to have control of our families. We have to control it. So we know that's their weakness.
I'm glad you said that, brother, because that's one of the things for this program today is that we got to get back to family. Like, for example, on YouTube, you have a lot of guys, a lot of folks that talk about, this whole divide between black women and black men, the whole gender war thing, which I'm not getting involved in that nonsense because I'm living a damn real world. You can't get around the fact that as black men, we have to we have to learn to engage with our women, and we need to learn to build relationship and build family. And you cannot build a good, strong black family if you do not have proper relationship with our black women. And therefore, there are black women out there that you would say are undesirable. Okay. And sometimes guys are talking about that on YouTube, the undesirable, but therefore you should be picking a black woman that is desirable and meets the criteria in which to build family, not just to have sex, but to build family. And a lot of sometimes guys don't do that. And the reason why this is very important, and that's why I picked the theme, that kind of a theme, and that thumbnail on there with the brother with his family, is because the family is the basis of all things. We are on this earth as black men. Our purpose to be builders. Our purpose is to be solvers of problems, to build family, to build a legacy and leave something behind when we're no longer here in the third damn dimension. That's your purpose. But what they did, remember, God, this is what I want to say to you, brother. I got to get your points on this. If you go back in history, at one point in time, you had a lot of brothers that were talking revolution, right? Like the Black Panther. You had a lot of brothers that were saying, "I want to be a revolutionary," right?
Right.
You even saw it on the even saw it on the Good Times. What did Michael want to be? He wanted to be an activist, right? Mm-hmm. Even though they kind of made a comedy out of the shit, but you had brothers growing up saying they wanted to be an activist. They wanted black power, right? And then what did they do? They changed the television and the movies, and they introduced this effeminate energy of be a pimp. And what was the first thing that they introduced? They introduced Superfly. Superfly had long hair, wore long coats. He was dealing in drugs and pimping and the whole nine of thing and womanizing in the whole 9 yard. And even though he wanted to get out of the game, they promoted him as his figure. And when people saw I remember this, brother. My mom told me about it. When people first saw the Superfly movie, Guess what it made brothers start doing? Because we went from the kunk, right? They used to kunk their hair, trying to look like Clark Gable or some bullshit, right? You had brothers growing their hair long, and now taking on the pimp culture and pimp ideology of pimping women, and then that influenced children and people growing up to say, I want to be a pimp. What do people use out of their mouth today, even though they're not a real legitimate pimp? I'm a pimp, y'all. I get ladies. All that comes out of gutter culture. All that comes out of the stereotyping and the cultural conditioning of the 70s exportation films, right? So they guttered us. We went from looking up to a Malcolm X, a Dr. King who had their hair clean cut, the whole 9 yard of suit, to now looking up to dudes that were acting flashy and now pimping and living off of our women, right? Then then somehow we went from that era, and then back in the, let me say, the late 80s, because I grew up during that time, you start seeing the rap music where brothers were talking about black power again, and to the east, my brother, and then you had black folks wearing the medallions, and when you would see a brother, which is why I always use the word peace, you would say, peace, my brother, peace, to the east. Then somehow the music got corrupted with the gangster music, and now everybody is calling themselves, what's up, my dog? That's ignorance. A dog is a four-legged creature. I'm not a four-legged creature. See how they changed our language? We got black men calling themselves dogs and pimps, when at one point in time we called ourselves kings, and we said peace to each other. And we said to the east, my brother, right? And now we're talking now, and then at one point in time, you would never see a brother walk around with his pants below his behind like he's got a bowel movement. Now, because of prison culture, brothers are wearing the pants below their behind. You see them? You see? So there's a term for that. When the word nigga, that only equates to a nigga can only be created in America. It's an American phenomenon.
Right, that's true.
I'll stop right there. I know I've said a mouthful. Go ahead, brother.
No, you on point. I see all that. What you're saying is all that degenerate stuff that they pushing on us, and now we made it into a culture, right? We made it it's all that slave culture, all that stuff that you have mentioned. We used to shame those type of people,
right?
You know, now you got women out here, and you got men. They sleeping with all these different women, getting them pregnant. Now you got women out here, our sisters having 4 or 5 different babies by different men. And now that becomes cool now. Before, we used to shame these people. Black people back when I was growing up, we used to get, black people used to get married, especially when my grandparents, they used to get married. There was some dignity that we used to have back in the day. So even when we used to control our music. When you hear those brothers, they were saying, get into their culture and all that stuff, that because they had more control of their music. Now, white folks said, oh, we can make money, but now they said, well, we'll give you this amount of money, but you can't use that black power stuff no more. You gotta, if you want to make more money now, sex sells, violence sells. So
right.
This is what they're pushing at now. And now, so you got a lot of these, young cats now. They selling out. Even back when we was growing up, where they went from reality rap to gangster rap. Now I didn't really mind reality rap because they did show the police brutality and all that stuff that right. I didn't even know what was going on because I was shielded with all this, black love and black, the fun rap. It was called a fun rap, the Will Smith and all that stuff. And I like, hip hop was fun. But when brothers is from the street, it's like, no, this is what's going on. This is what we got to deal with. Right. But then I was like, wow. So now you had the Public Enemies, NWA, before they got corrupted. They started saying after police and all that stuff, which it was cool. But what happened was Jerry Heller said, no, you just keep pushing that, calling the black woman the B word and all that. So they eventually got corrupted. So that's what we start seeing. And then, like I said, we're visual people. We don't have control of the media like that, right? Who controls the media? White folks, whether you might call them Christians or Jews or whatever you might call them, but they control the media. If we have more control of the media, then we could have more, could show our success,
right?
And that's good.
I was going to say that we did have a back in the day when Robert Johnson owned BET, Black Entertainment, ridiculous network as it has become now. With he played a lot of negative videos on there, but he had a program. They had a 20 or 30-minute news program that used to come on where they would really dig into what was going on in Black America. Then they had Teen Summit. The problem is that they had to get rid of both those shows because they didn't make money. And Bob Johnson, or Robert Johnson, however he wants to be called, he focused more on the videos because I guess that's what made money. And of course, after he made a lot of money off of showing these negative videos of Black people and their behavior, the buffoonery, he sold it for $1 billion, as you already know. Right. So what I'm trying to say, brother, is that all those things that we're talking about, I think it has led up to the cultural conditioning, social engineering, let me say that again, to why you can get on YouTube and you can see brothers on YouTube talk about our women the way they do and talk about this gender war. You know why? Because they don't even know that they've been a victim of social conditioning. And that social conditioning comes out of the pimp culture, the 1970s exploitation films, the music that we've listened to, all the displays of how they display our Black women. When you look at a Meg Thee Stallion, like you saw on the BET disaster, you see the image of the Black women, the city girls, twerking. These are the images that go all around the world. These are the images that young boys grow up looking at, and then they grow up and say, this is what Black women are, that they're hoes, they're this and that. And then when those Black men grow up and have a few bad experiences with the women that they chose to get involved in, then they say, oh, see, this is proof positive that Black women are this and that. And then they get on YouTube and preach to the other choir of people who buy into the okie doke, and then they don't even realize they're pushing the white man's narratives, right, about our people. They're pushing somebody else's narratives because they've been programmed. Like I said before, a Negro is created in America. The Negro phenomena is a creation of American society. You become a byproduct of it. Let me do this here because we got a lot of wonderful people in the chat room. I want to just say what's up to everybody as we continue the discussion. And I'll probably send a link to Alquan and see if he wants to come on. We got One Drop, who says all these disasters will come on you and they will be with you until you are destroyed because you did not obey the Lord your God and keep all the laws that he gave you. The brother sounds like he may be, a Hebrew Israelite of the Most High. I understand that if you don't follow certain laws and commandments, people that are heavily religious, especially Christian religion, feel that you're going to get a chastisement. Okay, I get that, brother. Let me see here. We got Flat Out KC, who says, peace, information, man. What's up to you? We got Tanya in the house. We got I Said It in the house. Peace to you. Welcome here. We got Catherine with friends. Thank you for being here. And let your sister know that we're on live and so she can come on over and join the program. We got Queen I Know I Am. Good sister here. I've been knowing her on YouTube for quite some time since I got on here. We got Tiffany Jackson. She says, I was listening to Sirius Station the other day, music from the 90s and 2000s. Every song was about sex or violence against all other blacks. It's easy to see how we got to our present state. Yeah, it's called cultural conditioning. Okay, which means you are conditioned by the environment that you're in, but the outer environment of our society. Let me quote what Joe Madison always says. In America, we are culturally conditioned to believe that white is superior and black is inferior. As a manifestation of that cultural conditioning, we will underestimate, undervalue, and marginalize black people. Black people will do it to themselves, and we will be marginalized and undervalued by the wider society. And that's part of cultural conditioning. That's why when they do a doll test, you know this, brother, when they do doll tests, what happens, brother, when they do a doll test with our children? What dolls do they usually pick? The white doll or the black doll?
The white doll.
The white doll.
They choose the white doll. Yeah, yeah.
And
I want to say this too.
Go ahead, brother. Go right ahead.
No, that's true. It's all about white worship. Everything that we talk about is all like when you was talking about the pimps and how they want to straight their hair. You know, they used to conk their hair back in doing when Malcolm X, when you saw the movie Malcolm X, how he used to conk his. They call it conking, but it's really permanent. It was all about white worship. You know what I'm saying? So when they start teaching about their history, not our history, and they pushing their history into all urban schools and all that, this is what they're trying to do, right? Like you said, they always try to make it seem like we don't have a culture and we don't have real heroes, and they try to or our heroes are evil. This is what they're doing, but at the same time, George Washington is the greatest. They worship George Washington, and he owned slaves. Marion Sims, who they call him a black woman butcher, who is the father of gynecologists, but he used to butcher black women.
Right,
but they had a statue of him. They had a statue of him. They recently just took it down, but that statue been up there for over 100 years. So when you have these statues of these demons, of these monsters, they want us to worship them.
Right, and check this out, brother. You can go on live streams within these spaces, and you will have other black men that will argue you down and say, and you hear this argument all the time. Well, why you worried about a statue, brother? Why you letting it hold you back? And the thing that's goofy about that, and I'm going to put a laugh on that. That's goofy about it. Is that don't you know that the statues are symbolism that shows that they're letting the whole world know, and they're letting your children know who's in charge.
Yes.
The statues are psychological symbolisms. Another thing, because you'll have black people on YouTube, believe it or not, black men that will argue you down. The reality is that they'll say, well, why are you worrying about Confederate monuments? Come on, man, just move forward. And them Confederate monuments ain't stopping me. The Confederate monuments were put up by the daughters of the Confederacy right after black people got what? Civil rights and got the voters right. Then the daughters of the Confederacy in the South sponsored to have those statues crafted as a way to say, we're still in power. Doesn't matter if you got these rights, Negro. We're still in power, and we're reminding you who controls this society, right? So those symbols of those rebellious traitors are very powerful because it's called psychological warfare. But a lot of people on YouTube, black men that will argue this down, they don't understand the art of war. They've never read it. They don't understand the 48 powers of law. The 48 powers of law talks about that. There's psychological warfare, there's physical warfare. Psychological warfare is when you plant your flag on somebody. Boom. That's what that is.
That's facts.
Check this out. The critical race theory. White folks don't want black history in their schools. So they're doing what? They're saying we can't let black folks plant their flag in our institutions. They see our history as that symbolic flag. That's why they're fighting against it. But you won't hear black men that will argue you about you should not worry about the monuments. You shouldn't worry about wanting them to be down. But look at white folks. White folks have all the power in this society, and they're afraid about history being taught in the schools because they don't want the true history to get to their kids and to be taught to wake up our kids. You see what I'm saying? I'll stop right there, brother. Go ahead. And let me say peace to Deborah Catch by Faith. Thank you for the super chat, my sister. I appreciate that. And as a result of her doing that, I'm going to have to definitely give her the super chat music and the whole 9 yard here. And here we go, man. Just hold on to your thought, brother.
Tell them run it up. I wake up. I wake up, flex, thumb down now, check, no drip, just wet. Tell them run it up, no sleep, no rest, might crash, might wreck, but first
all right, thank you, sister. I appreciate the super chat and everybody that's in the chat room. I appreciate you all that are here. We got Earl Owens, we got the Black Cyber Network, we got Tiffany Jackson, the one drop brother who came in and dropped some knowledge on him, Jasmine Virgo. We got Healthy Flavored is in the house, Tanya, and a lot of good folks coming in to the chat room. I appreciate everybody. Do me the biggest favor again, share this video out in your social media, your community tab, and what have you. Now, with that said, brother, because I know I've said a mouthful, what are your thoughts?
Well, that's the first thing they get you is psychological, right? Because you're gonna be less likely to fight back. So this is the reason why you notice how black folks, they are so quick to kill each other, but George Zimmerman's still walking in the streets. So you got all these black gangs, but George Zimmerman's still walking the streets. It's all about hands up, don't shoot. But we have no remorse when it comes down killing each other. So that's that psychological power that they got over us, where that how many stories that you hear white people killing a black teen, you hear it all the time, but no retaliation. But when it comes down to us fighting each other, we have no problem doing drive-bys and all this other stuff. So that's how they get us. Is that psychological? That's how they get us psychological. And also too, they use religion too. Oh, you know, what would Jesus do and all that stuff. But when our deities didn't play that, our deities, we had deities that was like, you know, will fight back. That's why I'm telling people, what was your deities?
Right.
You worshiping somebody else's deities that was forced on us. So this is the reason why we can't really, some of us is like, we out of touch, out of nature. Like Marcus Garvey said one thing: we have to get back into nature because we're not. And they push it. And I'm gonna say this real quick.
Yes, sir.
When we talk about psychological, they push this white girl on us, right? They push the white girl on the black man. In the movies, what do you see? You always see that black man with the white girl. Remember back when we was growing up, we had Good Times, right? We had what was that other one? Family Matters, where you see the black man with the black woman. What happened? Why all of a sudden now, when these movies, you always gonna see the black man, they pushing this interracial thing on us. And that's another psychological warfare that they use to weaken our race. Right. Even in the athletes, guess what they do?
You are listening.
They
brother.
They take these athletes and they put them in a private room, and they tell them, look, don't go to your neighborhood. You know, they tell them not to mess with their women if they want to make it, or if they want to make it big. This is the reason why Michael J. White, one of my favorite actors, Michael J. White, he's not getting he's not in the on a big screens. Why? Because he married his sister, a black woman. But if he was a Tay Diggs, or if he was one of these other sellout Negroes, or they'd give him big movie roles. See, that's what I'm saying. When we are under attack psychologically, and when we know their game, we see. Look, this is a race. That's what the word race come from. We are in a race. We are behind enemy lines. Right. Like we not, and we got to be in the game. And the only way to know this, that we got to know we got to study our enemy, right? This is the reason why I tell black people, be a selfish race. Be a selfish race. Only support your businesses. If we have black banks, we have black nail salons and stuff like that. Support them. Go hard on supporting them, just like you support the Asians and the Arabs, or what you may call Arabs, or the Europeans. Let's take that money and let's circulate it among our people. You know what I'm saying? Let's control a town. Let's control where we can circulate that dollar among ourselves before it leaves us. So we have to know our enemy. But like I said, they get us. The psychological warfare comes in all. They use religion. They use their women. They use education. All this is a warfare to us, and that's the reason why we can't. You want to know why we still in the same position? Because we think they're ISIS coded, because for years they kept pushing in us. It would probably take another 100 years to get us out of our condition.
So, brother, let me go ahead and ask you a few questions here then. Because I can imagine right now someone listening to this will say, okay, black folks are very good at pointing out what the problems are, but what are the solutions? And I want to know what solutions are. So I would ask you respectfully, we know what a lot of our problems are. We understand we understand some of what's ailing our people. What would you say would be solutions to rebuilding some of these problems? Now, that's why I put on the thumbnail of this video the brother with his family, his wife, and his kids, because I'll give you one solution as part of it, but there you can actually open up more doors. I believe the foundation has to be the family. If we get the family in order, then from that seed called the family, we can begin to rebuild the community in a different light. We may not be able to reshape those that are in the community now who just want to keep doing the same thing. So we may not, you may be able to only save or convince, let me say that, people within the community that are living a certain lifestyle now. Some of them you may be able to convince them or encourage them to change, because nobody changes unless they want to change themselves first. You can talk to them till they're blue in the face. They got to want to change first. So we'll be able to encourage those folks. Then there are those that ain't going to change. They're going to die the way they are. They're going to perish the way they are. So therefore, the first step is that the seed begins with family. I have a daughter, so it is my job as a man to teach my daughter all the truism of what it is for what a man is, so that when my daughter begins to have relationships or have her own family, she will know what a man really is based on the fact that her father gave her a living example. Then her mother adds to that piece by teaching her what it is to be a woman and what all that entails. And that just doesn't entail her sexuality. It entails a hell of a lot more, starting with the mind. So that's the basis, I believe, but then you can spring out to other areas from family. So I'll throw it back into your lap. And I think, let me real quick before you speak, brother, I want to give this brother right here acknowledgement. One Drop says he gave me a $20 super chat, which I really appreciate, brother.
Thank you for the super chat.
He says, we have been convinced that the truth is simply a religion, and they spun it to us backward. They gave it to us backwards, so we dismiss the plain truth. The problem is spoken right. Right. The answer is 30 if known. Okay. Thou self. Know thyself. Answer is to know art thyself. I completely agree with you, brother.
Thank you for the
I'll give you a
super
clap on that. That is true. And once again, thank you for the super chat, brother.
Thank you for the super
And for what you wrote down in the notes there. All right. Go ahead, brother. Guye Nollywood. I want to hear your perspective on this. And then I'm gonna shout out a few other people that are in the chat room and read some of the things that they're saying. But go right ahead. I want to hear your perspective.
I agree. I think the first step of revolution is start with your family. Teach your children, because that's the first tack they're going to do when you send your children to these public school system. They try to indoctrinate your children. we have to teach our children to be prepare themselves to challenge the school systems. We gotta train them to do that. So one of the things you on point is teach your children about your history. Let them know where they come from, right? Let them know where they come from. I think that's the most, and keep everything in your image. Make your world as black as possible. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it, because you want them to love their race. We can't follow this one black drop rule, because I noticed that black people, we have a history of saying, well, we got some white in us, we got some yellow in us, no, I don't hear the white man saying, I got some black in me. I never hear the yellow man saying that.
Right. The thing that cracked me up, and I mean, it really cracks me up, brother. When they came out with the DNA test, which, by the way, has been proven to be a fraud, ladies and gentlemen, okay? I notice the main people that I hear on social media getting all happy is when have you ever seen a black person get their DNA test, and then the DNA test will show all of the blood that comes from Europe? And then they may have on there that's Saharan, Africa, or they're from the Congo, what have you. But what I notice about some black people is that they get very happy when they find out, I got Irish blood in me. It says I got 20% Irish blood. I got 30% Irish blood. I got 10% Irish blood. I got 5% Italian. I got 5% Greek. And it's very laughable because you have black people who get excited because why? Let's just be honest. Because of what we've gone through in this country, we tend to want to be anything other than black. And even though we may know that we're black, we like the idea of knowing that we got a little bit of this and a little bit of that. My daddy was half Mexican, so and we'll have black folks walking around as black as the ace of spades. Talking about, I'm black and Italian, and they're black as the ace of spades. Because we get excited when we find out that we got something in us other than anything that has to do with being black, and then we lie to ourselves and other people and say that we're proud to be black, but we get very giddy. I don't remember seeing anybody getting giddy when they look at one of those tests and they say, God damn it, I got Nigerian blood in me. Yeah, pop open the champagne, baby. Yeah, and celebrate. No, I don't see black folks sometimes doing that. It's a damn shame. I'm not saying that they're not out there, but I don't see that. That's one example, brother. Go ahead.
Well, when I did took my DNA, but it depends what DNA test you take, because not all of them are thorough. I mean, especially if it's coming from a white company. I took my DNA from African ancestry, and that came from that started with what's his name Rick Kittles. He's the one who started his own genetic DNA company. So, and this is where that guy who played T'Challa, what's his name, Chad
Boseman, if I'm not
right. I don't know if you heard
Chad
right,
Boseman.
Chad Boseman, right? He was on the Breakfast Club, and he said that he encouraged black people to take their DNA test, the African ancestry, by the way. He said, because he was telling Charlemagne, no, you took the wrong test, because he said he took some other. Yeah, he said he took the wrong test. He said, no, you got to take the real one, African ancestry, and they'll tell you exactly, because we do have a genetic marker, tell you exactly where we come from. So
we do know, and I know there's a lot of debate over whether we come from the continent of Africa or whether black people were originally here. The way I always squash that argument is that if you are a melanated person, which means you are dark matter, and we know that dark matter comes from the universe. That's what made up black holes. If you do scientific research, black holes in the solar system is made of melanin. That's what created the planet that we're on. So the animals, the birds, the trees, the water that you drink, it all has a level of melanin in it. So if we're melanated people, that means that you don't need to argue about necessarily where we come from, because we're from the whole goddamn planet, the whole goddamn globe, right? Because every time they do archaeological digs, they always end up finding black bones, so to speak, black people, in a land where we thought black people never were. So remember a couple years ago, they did a big time dig in what we call Israel, or close to Israel, and they found bones that date back that were black people. That dates even further and further back. So I just say we are universal people. We're from the whole damn planet, period, all over the globe.
Right. You're right. I think we are the first travelers. We are definitely first travelers. Like I said, I always tell people to check the timeline of it, because I had an argument with these Moors, and they were saying that the pyramids, because our people were pyramid builders, and they were saying that the pyramids are in Latin America, which is Mexico, are older than the one in Egypt, in Africa. And I debunked that. And because I said, you didn't check the timeline. And we already know, and you go to a website, they said the oldest pyramids, and they showed it, they checked the timeline, and they showed the first oldest pyramids were in Egypt. Right. So a lot of the times that, again, this is another, they use this thing where Africa don't get their credit. You see what I'm saying? Even the name Africa, right? Which I debunked too, because they were saying, oh, that Africa came from the white man, came from this Roman emperor. Africanus, which is not. Yeah, they call him Africa something. Africanus or whatever, which is not true at all. Right. Africanus mean the conqueror of Africa. That's where he got that from. Because back then, if you conquer something, you're going to name yourself after what you conquered. See, you but can the original. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. No, I said right. The Africa. That's what our people named that continent. The ancient Egyptians. We named our people named that continent. So when people, and like I said, you don't have to take my word for it. There's a book called Black in Science by what's his name? I forgot that guy's name. I'll get back to you on that. Let me bring up something for you. There are two books that people should research. This is how you could also debunk the argument when people start talking about the pyramids are older in America. You can debunk them this way too. I don't know how many people have heard of Ivan Van Sertima. He is a doctor. Ivan Van Sertima has a book. I studied the book exclusively when I was in college. It's called 800 BC, before they came before Columbus. In that book, he researched heavily the travels, because people didn't believe that people in the continent could actually travel over here because they thought they were primitive. They weren't. So what we call Africans were traveling over here to what we call the new land when Europeans, as we know, were still in caves, domesticating animals, didn't know how to season their food and various things of that nature. So Ivan Van Sertima documented how they traveled over. And when they traveled over, they would engage in social interaction with those that were already here. And they brought their technology over, and they were trading gold and silver. The people that were here on this land we call North America believed that the Africans that came over during that time, 800 BC or so, were gods. So much that they made statues and stone heads of them, stone heads that are bigger than your living room. These things are in museums. They got them down there in Cancun. And when you go to Mexico, near their at Aztec temples, they got these stone heads. And you had European scientists who tried to say, they said, well, why are the features on these statues very Negroid in features? And they tried to say, oh, it's because their tools were jagged. No,
the statues had very broad noses and very negroid in their features because these were black men, and the natives that were here thought that they were gods. That's why they erected statues of their heads to them. Now, check this out. In his research, they found Egyptian pottery, or maybe it was Kemet, because we know the original name was Kemet, the land of the black, before it changed over in the different dynasties. The pottery that they found in what we call South America and North America, they found Egyptian pottery over there because the Africans brought it over as part of their what? When you travel, you do trade with people. You say, here, give me this. I got this. It's a peace offering. So the Egyptians and other Africans were coming over and they found pottery. Now, this is what Dr. Van Sertima said, that you did not see pyramids in South America and what we call America until the African laid his foot on this soil. Once the African laid his foot on this soil, which is what I said, exchanging of technology, that's when you start having the phenomena of pyramids in South America. There's even mound pyramids under the water that they found here in America. They call them mound pyramids. The pyramid building was a phenomena of the exchanging of culture and technology between the African and those that were here. And those that were here could be looking just like me and you. They could be darker. They could be what we call Native Americans or Native people, whatever you want to call it. There was an exchanging of culture. And that's when those pyramids start to pop up. Until that time, when you go back to 800 BC, and from there on up, you did not, before that time of engagement between the two cultures, there were no pyramids. And one of the biggest pyramids in Egypt, they did a measurement. Dr. Van Sertima did some research, found out that pyramid had the exact diameter and size as one of the pyramids that was built in South America, which says that there was an exchanging of technology at that time. And check this out. This is what people have never been able to understand. And the Egyptians and black people are on a spiritual level, just like the Dogons. They built the pyramids top down. The pyramids were not built top up.
Right.
And because they can't figure it out, that's why they start getting into all of this. Well, it was extraterrestrials that must have taught them what. No, they just had a higher science than what we think we got. Go right ahead, brother.
Yes. And that's the brother that you mentioned. There was a book called Blacks in Science. That's the name of the book. So Ivan Sertima, that's the book, Black in Science. And he talks about what the word name, the name Africa came from our people. But you're right. A lot of it's when the pyramid building started from Egypt and it went all throughout Africa. And when black people traveled, that's when they started to put their, let people know that, hey, we was here. So remember, I have a book called What You Never Learned in History Class. Mm-hmm. And they said that it took that a lot of us, other races was, because evolution, it took thousands of years because for people to become mutated, right? So you have to straight hair and people get lighter because of the lack of the sun and stuff like that. So, but when, like I said, the timeline, when we check the timeline, black people, of course, we was the first ones here in this country called United States or America, and all over the world. They got pyramids in Indonesia. You know what I'm saying? They're still standing.
You go to Australia and you got the Aborigine, who the Europeans go over there and they try to take it over. You go to Alaska where you have dark people in Alaska, Asiatic type dark people. And you got it. So that's why personally, I find it a waste of time personally to debate with people about where black people come from when we need to recognize that we come from all over the globe because this planet, we are the originators and the origins of this planet. Mm-hmm. Therefore, we would be in every neck of the woods. Of course.
And like I said, the evidence is there. Mm-hmm. Evidence proved it. So, but I would say this. You know, when we know that, you know, like when we look at these climates, we gotta look at the climates, right? A lot of these climates are cold, and black people, we can't survive in the cold. I don't know what you think. You think black people are, because we're tropical people. So of course, because when I debated the Moors, I said that I think we only stopped at Mexico. We didn't go further up north because the weather tend to get colder. So we don't really, we not cold people. You see what I'm saying? So we're trying to stay in a climate change where there's like a lot of heat, a lot of lot of trees, and a lot of where there's what you call it, where a lot of vegetables and fruits are grown. You see what I'm saying? Because we're not that type of, we're not meat eaters like that. We're not like, you know, bloody meat eaters like the Europeans and stuff like that. We don't eat all these weird stuff. You know, we basically plant-based people.
I think you have to look at the environment. People eat what's in their environment. So because of where black people were in the world, our diet was different than what was in our environment. It was based on what was in our environment. The European, check this out. The Europeans, you know, Europe is a prison. So if you break down the word Europe, it's a prison, a rope, a prison to keep them in. If you go to Europe, if you go to Europe, or if you've been to Europe before, or you look at Europe, it doesn't get very sunny there. It rains all the time. Right. The climate is very cold, very dreary, right? They don't really have, even when you go to England and some of these countries, they're sometimes some of their food is very bland, because remember, it was the Moors and black people who brought them spices. See, when people talk about, like when you look at things like rice and pasta, that all originally came from the continent originally. The Chinese are not the creators of these things called rice and things called pastas. Right. It came from the Africans first. Right. So the Europeans, when they look at their diet, they didn't have a very diet that was full of spices. So now when they brag about how good France food is, Italian food is, and these other European countries, because food in the UK is very bland, you got to ask yourself, well, you say, Italian food is good. Where'd they get their spices from? The spices were gotten from black people. Remember, the Moors controlled most of Europe for many, 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 many years. Europe was in the dark ages. Then they got into a renaissance, as we were told, because the Moors left them technology, art, taught them things, navigation, and they also taught them how to season food. So that's how, when you look at these certain European cuisines, why they're spicy, they taste a certain way, because you got to look at where they got it from in the first place. So Europe, in a way, if you look at it, compared to black people living in climates like Africa, where it's nice and sunny, we're wearing bright colors. You know, right? Think about the colors that we wear as a people. Black people are very attracted to bright colors because the melanin in our bodies is attracted to things that are bright, things that are alive. Yeah, right? Europe, Europe is a very cold, damp place. Yes, right. It's like a prison that they're in. Yeah. And in Europe, before they knew how to cook their food properly and season, as I said before, a lot of them were living in caves. That's why you got the word caveman. Remember when they say caveman? Black people have never been cavemen. Caveman was associated with the Europeans who lived in the Caucasus Mountains, right? Right. That's where you get that stuff from. That's true. Go right ahead, brother. We're taking y'all to school today, ladies and gentlemen.
This is good stuff, man.
Hit the bell. Come to school, baby. Go right ahead, brother.
But you know, this is the reason why they got us from out of Africa and enslaved us like they did. Because if you notice, look at the cooks doing slavery. Who was in the kitchen? Us. Because they didn't know how to cook. Right. And like you said, a lot of those foods, even the foods that they shipped, when they brought us, they brought a lot of our foods from Africa, like rice, like watermelon come from Africa. So they brought a lot of seeds and stuff like that to grow because they didn't know how to eat. They studied us. The enemy studied us. So they said, damn, y'all built all this. So what happened was they lied. First of all, see, we gotta get down to the science of this. First of all, they lied to the leaders over there during that time, right? They said, look, we just want to borrow your people. So a lot of this whole our black people sold us out. No, they didn't sell us out. They didn't. A lot of what the Europeans did, they used technology. That's number one. They used a lot of technology. They knew the eclipse was coming. So a lot of our people were spiritual people. So they used that. But a lot of the times what happened was I'm getting a lot of feedback.
Oh, I know what's going on. I got Alquan he's come on now. I'm gonna mute him. I think the feedback is coming from him. But we'll fix that problem. Don't worry.
Okay.
Let me see if I can fix something. Let me see. That's why.
I don't hear it no more.
You don't hear no more? Okay.
Yeah.
Go right ahead. Continue what you were saying.
So they saw the things that we built and everything. So they said, look, we want, because Europe didn't have anything. They didn't have none. It was like a swamp. So what they did, they used us to build their country up. So they said, well, we just want to borrow your people. They knew wasn't going to bring us back. So that's what they were. That's what, when we say they kidnapped us, that's exactly what they did. So that's the reason. If you look at DC, what did Washington DC looks like? Ancient Egypt. The Washington Monument looked like the Tekken. Right. The statues of Lincoln sitting down. Where did they got that from? The statue of the Egyptians sitting down on the seat. And Benjamin Banneker he's the one who designed, who created DC, a black man.
Well, you do know that, he created the layout of DC, the clock. Now, this is the area that I want to explore as it relates to Benjamin Banneker. The Big Ben clock in London,
right.
if I'm not mistaken. They actually, if I'm not mistaken, y'all can correct me, they designed that clock sort of to give a tribute to Benjamin Banneker, which is why they call it the Big Ben. A lot of folks may or may not know that. Alquan, what's going on, brother? Hard cold, brother.
What's going on, Guye Nollywood?
Yeah, what's good, my brother?
Man. Yeah, I think I did have a little noise in the background because I had one of these idiot neighbors flooded upstairs.
Okay. Yeah, I had just muted you because he said that there was some kind of sound, but I'm glad that you came on board, brother. We're getting it in, and I definitely want you. We're talking about history. We were talking about the state of where black people are today, and then I said we need to talk about solutions because everybody says, well, wait a minute. What about solutions? Because you can always talk about the problems. And I said the basic seed of our improvement of our community has to start with the family. We may not be able to change and transform those that want to continue living the way they live. There'll be a small few that will jump on board, but there will be a lot of them that will perish away. But we have to start with our family structures. And then we start getting into history, the origins of where black people come from. And I know that this is an area that you can go deep into, and I want you to go deep into your knowledge about our origins and our connection to influencing the world and things of that nature. So that's where we are, brother, in the discussion. Okay. So drop on in whatever knowledge you want to drop on to the people, but welcome here. And let me give you a clap for being here, brother. So I thank you. Alquan, I'm glad he's here. And let me say shout out real quick to folks in the chat room. We got a lot of great people in the chat room. Let me say peace and love to A View. A View is a View. Check out her channel, ladies and gentlemen. She's a great sister. Love going over and checking her out. We got Tiffany Jackson, Jasmine Virgo, Black Cyber TV. Tanya's in the house. Let me see. Queen I Know I Am is in the house. Highly flavored. And then we got, who else? We got, a few folks upstairs. Let me see here. We got who here? We got Rashid is in the house. Tiffany Jackson. And then I got super chatted by KS. KS said this, nothing but facts. Let me find him. Let me find his original. And we got the one dope. The one drop is in the house who super chatted me as well. But let me find KS real quick, who just super chatted me. Put him on the screen there. KS gave me a good super chat here. Thank you for that super chat, brother. Nothing but facts. Africa had 3 iron and bronze age before Europeans had anything. The only reason why Greeks and Romans had advancement was their proximity to Kemet. Well, they actually stole a lot of their knowledge. If you read the book Stolen Legacies, that shows you how a lot of the Greeks got their philosophy and a lot of their knowledge out of the ancient Kemet, or out of the secret societies that they had at that time. Read the book Stolen Legacies. And with that said, dear brother, let me play a little bit of the super chat music. And let me go over here and give you the celebration just for a little while there.
Thank you for the super chat.
I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it up. I wake up, flex, I'm down now. Check, no drip, just tell 'em run it up. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch.
Information is power.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Thank you for the super chat, KS. I appreciate that, brother. Now, let's move on with the program and go right ahead if anybody wants to drop the knowledge.
Yeah, let me say a few things. I always say the simplest thing that we need to do to resolve a lot of our issues is hard, but it's simple at the same time. I always say we need to get educated. We need to put the drugs down. I know some people, they think that that's an idiotic idea for some odd reason, but other countries, they are clearly educated in the sciences and the math, and they're not getting high, especially in the military. I know there are exceptions to every rule, but in general, you need to be intelligent because other people are dealing with science and math, and we're dealing with emotion and craziness. And I just got my little, the Sling TV back, and so I've been catching up on some first 48s that I missed.
Okay.
You know what I've been noticing with the trend? Not only is it that black males, at least as shown on that show, seem to be doing most of the killing.
Yes.
But I noticed that people say things. I know I'm about to get a lot of flack with them for what I'm about to say. Like I say it anyway. They say weed is not a problem because who kills over weed? Who does crime over weed versus cocaine or heroin? But I'm looking at the homicides, the robberies, and the murders on that show. I'm like, at least 90% are weed robbery related. So I'm like, I know people like to smoke weed, but I'm like, if it's legalized in more and more states, why are people killing people over weed? That's what I can't understand. You know, it's only weed. It should be the cheapest drug out there. So I can't understand that. So we need to get off of that. If we can't even get off of that, we're going to have some serious problems here. You know what I mean? And problems that we can't resolve.
Well, Quan, let me ask you this question, brother. Growing up and all these years that I've been on the earth, everybody says that weed, or let me just correct that. Some people say that weed is not an addictive drug. It just makes you get the munchies. It makes you feel relaxed, and and then maybe it affects your brain cells. If people are still killing each other over weed and it's legalized, isn't that a good argument to say that maybe there is an addictive property to marijuana? Because that's sort of the kind of behavior that people engage in when they're hooked on crack cocaine and other stronger substances. Would you agree with me or disagree?
I definitely agree with you on that. They claim that the weed of today is stronger, it must have something in it because people are treating it like it's cocaine. You know? Any drug today, I always say this because weed heads always say, I'm not trying to put down weed heads, but I throw all drug addicts in the same pool. I don't give a damn. I don't try to, just because weed is supposed to be the cool drug, I don't give a damn. It's all going in the same pool.
So, not to get us too far off subject, then I did a podcast on my second channel about the young lady Sha'Carri Richardson, who lost her biological mother. She said she already knew that was the rules and track that you can't use marijuana, and now she's being suspended from competing in her 100 meter, but yet they're going to let her compete possibly on the relay team, which I think is kind of like, doesn't make sense to me. If you're going to let her do that, why would you not let her still? It doesn't make sense. But once again, she took to hitting the weed, and now she can't compete. And she's saying it was based on losing her mother. And I understand she lost her mother, so she's using that as a coping mechanism, which I don't think is the best. But I would venture to say that she probably has always taken part in the chronic before this.
I also think that's an excuse, of course, when my mother died, so let me go get high. I always look at it like this. In the court system, they give drug addicts excuses when they say, okay, well, you've been caught here for the 50th time, sir, for crack possession. We'll get you some help and you'll get right. And then, actually after the first couple of times, that's when the addicts realize, you know what, that's a good excuse. I'll go with that. But they don't realize the course is giving them a suggestion. So you got to look at it like this. Suppose your mother died and you never smoked anything. So how is it that you're going to say, oh, man, my mother, oh, man, this is bad, man. I can't cope. I got an idea. Let me pick up a pipe and start smoking some crack. I don't know what it's like, but I guess that's supposed to help. No, that doesn't help anything. All that does is exacerbate the problem. And what you've already been doing is you've already been using anyway, and you're just making another excuse. And we have to stop. Addiction is for the weak-minded, as far as I'm concerned. And we have to stop making excuses. And that's a big part of our problem because it's always wrapped around getting high and being desperate enough to rob people and kill people, or selling the drugs, which, believe it or not, some people might say, damn, this is weird, but I feel that that's better than using the drugs. But usually with black people, they're selling and using at the same time. So that creates a bunch of problems that
a lot of problems
can't escape from,
Right. Well, let me ask you this question, because it's the same thing I asked Brother Guy as well. Given all the problems that we have, and there are things obviously we got to stop doing, but there's things that we need to build through family. Where do you see our future going? Because yes, we can talk about the negative, but there are young people out here that are doing some brilliant things and are going to definitely be people that we're going to be looking at in the future. Young people. I've interviewed some of these folks. We got in Oakland, California, we got Afrotech, where we got black folks that are getting involved in technology and are doing some incredible things. They have this annually in Oakland, and it's becoming bigger and bigger. So we do have black folks that are doing incredible things, but we seem to have the low-hanging fruit of the minimum that becomes our maximum. So when everybody looks at BET Awards and we see City Girls and we see Meg Thee Stallion, we put those folks on a pedestal and we essentialize that in our community and our culture as this is it, when a lot of these folks are not a proper representation of what black people really are. Now, they are a slice of it, but it's the slice that becomes the maximum, and black people that are doing incredible things are being minimized in their importance in our community. And that is, to me, dangerous. But with that said, though, where do you feel heart cold, we're going as a group? Are we basically going down in the flames of fire, or do we have a future? Go ahead, brother.
Well, I think since we have a strong past, despite of what we've been through, we must have a future as well. But the problem is right now our present is being run by people who are puppeteering us, pimping us, so to speak, if you want to get raw. And they're controlling our images. And the Cardi B's, the Meg Thee Stallions, Oh man, that little Nas X, people like them. These are the people they're putting out there, and they're telling these people what to do. You know that little Nas X. The reason why he came out with that name is because Nas is a well-regarded rapper, well-respected rapper. So he puts his name out there and tricks people into thinking, okay, this man is lyrical. He's all about something else. So now he's letting it all hang out. But see, we don't control the BET. Quiet as it's kept, even though some people might not agree that she's a black woman, owns TV One, but the president of TV One is a small hat. So a lot of people don't know that. I look into that kind of stuff because when I see suspicious programming, I'm like, nah, this can't be. This is not something that black people are coming up with. This is something that somebody else is coming up with. So these guys are well connected. They're putting everybody out there, and they're rewarding people for cooning. That's number one. And then you got the Rainbow Coalition. My God, this is crazy. Everybody who's in the public eye, they have to support it because they can't go against it. If they go against it, they end up like my man Isaiah Washington. You go from a top-rated show, now you got to do the underground circuit to keep a career going. That's how they punish you. And that's a sad situation. You can't even keep quiet or neutral on the matter either because they want to force politics and force declarations of which side you're choosing out of you, whether you're an athlete or not. And you shouldn't have to do that. But the fact that they're doing that most of the celebrities that we know of, they're the ones making presumably the most money that we are aware of as far as black people, unless they're businessmen or some type of criminal. But we look to them for financial support, even though we know we're not getting it anytime soon, but we keep holding out that they do something at some point in time. But obviously they got their hands tied behind their back and they must submit. In other words, you could say that they're buck broken, just like the man who made the video. He's buck broken too.
Wow.
I want to cut in just to add on things to what my brother said. We have to teach our children critical thinking, and I think that's the problem that we don't do as a people. We got to teach our children to question certain things, not just to take in a lot of this crap that's going on. Let them question certain things. Teach them how to question certain things. And I notice, if you notice, remember back in the day in the 90s, how you had the Donahues, you had the Ricky Lakes, and all these great talk shows that help people think. And a lot of black people used to be on there, used to come on there and talk a lot of issues. And you know, they cut all that out and they put all this buffoonery like the Jerry Springers and all this other crap on there that don't do anything for us. But when they had the Donahues and everything, black people had a voice. Black people spoke about all types of stuff, racism and all that stuff. But that's what they don't want. They don't want us or teach our children to have critical thinking. And we need to instill that to our children. And I don't care what it is. It could be politics, it could be religion, whatever. We got to teach our children critical thinking. I think that's one of the solutions that we need to install in our homes. Also, too, he said one thing. Hall Cole has said something very interesting. How Little Nas X, and I noticed a lot of with the LGBT, with the alphabet crew, I should call them.
Yeah.
Keep
the codes coming because you know how it is.
Right. I'll call it. Right. They'll take you notice how they take everything that's dealing with black power, that's dealing with masculinity, and they try to feminize it or weaken it. So they take these powerful names like Nas and you know, that's good. That's a powerful name. That's an African name. And now they try to feminize it. They try to weaken it. And even now they use the word pride. They like even the word pride. We always talk about African pride and all that. They took that word, anything that's dealing with these strong, masculine, powerful names, African names, and they try to use it as a way to weaken especially weaken our boys. They try to, now they saying that you can't, if your son wants to become a girl, you should let him do it. And now the government is coming involved, and they, allowing this crap now to the point you can't discipline your child. Because when we was growing up, our parents used to whip our ass. Now all of a sudden, you do it, you go to jail. You get, they use a lot of these things that how black people used to be successful, and now they use it as a way of a war tactic to weaken us. So they use, so we gotta be mindful of these things, how they take these powerful names, or they ban certain things, that made us better. You know what I'm saying? So, I just want to just throw that in there, because he said something, Hawkeye said something was very important, how they take certain things like these strong names and how they take it, and now they are adopting it. Even when it comes on the rainbow is a beautiful biblical symbol. And now they taking that and they dirtying it up with that filth. So because when I was growing up, they used to see kids playing, and you see the beautiful rainbow, and it was a beautiful symbol. Now they took it and they dirty it up. So we have to be mindful of what they're doing to our people, man. It's very it's disgusting, in my opinion. And I yield the mic.
All right, Jesse Jackson is one of those culprits with that Rainbow Coalition. It's a rainbow. I'm glad you brought the rainbow thing up too, because not only with that filthy flag that they painting on roads and stuff, you got back in the days, and I guess you can call them the innocent days. They did put the rainbow out there. When you think about, there's a Rainbow Bright cereal that used to be out, Lucky Charm cereal, a whole bunch of stuff. You look at now, computers. They advertise the coolers with the rainbow colors. I don't know if people notice that they're tricking that segment of the society to thinking, okay, well, you buy this product, you can get a whole bunch of red, black, and green colors, combinations to get you a whole bunch of colors, but they're really displaying that rainbow flag on the product, but they're being slick about it. Now, I'm going to use code when I speak next, but let me say this. If all these politicians and leaders are down with this small segment of the society, I mean, have they yet to come out of the closet? I mean, how could you support something that you're not partaking in? That's what I want to know. I see you got Bakari on. We can let my man rock.
Yeah. What's up, Bacardi?
Peace.
Bakari, what's going on, man? What's going on? Peace, brother.
Thank you for letting me on your panel, man.
All right. Whatever you say, brother, please speak in code too. If there's anything that's, hard hitting. But go ahead, brother. Welcome to the panel.
Yeah, thank you. You know what? It's a good show. I'm gonna try to speak in code. I don't really speak in code, but I'm gonna do everything I can to do that, right? But it's a good show. I heard you. It was some things that you was talking about that
thank you.
That I wanted to touch on, things that when you talked about the music, right? How the music has changed, right?
Yes, sir.
But when you go back, I can't even remember the brother's name now. But if you go back to the UNIA, their newspaper, right? And you would see how back then in the 20s, one of the things that we were fighting against was calling ourselves the N-word. Even that what we wrote about, right?
Right.
So then you had this Jewish guy write a book. And he said, just listen to the sound of it when it come out of their mouth. It sounds so good. It's like a corn hitting the pavement, right? And then at the end, he said, once we get them to once we get them to call themselves, once we get them where they call themselves that, they will finally realize they are the worst thing on earth. And people, it bothered people when I say, we have to get away from that word, right? Because we sit and we talk about people don't respect us, but we don't respect us when we are happy slaves. We accept the name, we accept the degrading names that people gave us, and look at our communities when Brother Guy talked about how we used to marry back in the day. Now you go back to look when we became the NWAs of the world. You know, when you mentioned X-Clan and Public Enemy, and a lot of people don't know Paris from some San Francisco.
From Oakland, yeah.
Yeah,
I remember Paris.
Yes, I know Paris, right? A lot of people don't know Paris, right?
Right.
But when you have that revolutionary spirit in your music, so then they prompt us, they promoted us calling ourselves the N-word, bragging on how much dope we sold one another, bragging on how much you killed the N-word. One moment, that's my N-word. The next moment, I'm killing. You understand what I'm saying? So it went from
facts. Tell the truth.
Our neighborhood started to change even more. And now they were talking about with the Rainbow Coalition, right? Then you can just put Lil Nasty X all on TV with 3 other men and they're tongue kissing. And it's our responsibility, right? Because I'm done asking them for anything. Anything that we need in this country, we have to realize we're going to do it. If we don't do it for ourselves, it's not going to get done. I ask people, how many of you have ever picked up the radio station, picked up the phone and called the radio station in the middle of the day and say, this shouldn't be played? I have on several occasions. We have to fix what's wrong with us. When it comes to other people, it's almost like we are little children.
Yes.
We want them to fix something for us. And we get upset. I understand how long we've been here. I understand everything that has ever happened, everything that is still happening, and everything that is gonna continue to happen. But we are like, look what you gave the Asians. Look what you gave the Asians. But they didn't give us nothing. We are like the little kid that's upset because mama and daddy gave to the younger child over us because the younger child needed. Watch this. If they put something on a piece of paper, it's not going to stop them from doing anything to you, right?
Right.
It's not going to fix our community. It's not going to have us support one another more. You understand?
Yes.
We have to do that. Because regardless of what they put on a piece of paper, the murderer of Trayvon Martin and people like him, the murderer of that black man and that black woman in Boston, Massachusetts a week ago, just because they were black, that piece of paper would not stop that. It's our responsibility to make sure we take care, that we protect our neighborhood, and that we begin to respect us, that we have to do it because no one else is going to do it. We have to protect our neighborhood. I always say the 4 pillars of a man. I'm a man, strong black man, pro-black, pan-African. I love my people all around the world, even the ones that don't say they're African. I still love you because you my people, and we go through the same thing. You understand? But we have to come together, get past our differences, and understand that if we don't do it, it will not be done. The first part of the solution, the 4 pillars: respect, love, provide, protect. Look in the mirror, pull your pants up as a man. You want to be a leader. Let's lead the community. Let's protect our women and children from anybody that's trying to hurt them. Let's encourage our people to be disciplined enough to go 5 miles past the Arab corner store to find the black-owned corner store. Make them go disciplined enough to go 10 miles past the Asian hair store, the Asian nail salon, to find a black-owned one. We have to shop. We have to look for one another. And when you go on Yelp or whatever, and they tell you it's a black-owned business, call it. Go to the business and look, because it's something I found out here. And I'm in Atlanta. I was looking for black-owned nail salons, right?
Yes, sir.
The first 10, 6 of the first 10 came up under their black-owned section was owned by Asians. Call it or just ride to it and see who's in there, because they want to trick us. But it's our responsibility to make sure that we're not tricked anymore. The real leader's going to lead, and our people will beat us when they see that we are doing the right thing. Let's get up and go to these city council meetings. Let's get up and go to these county commissioner meetings. Let's get up and go out here and let these police know what time it is. I do it all the time. We can all do it. We have to go out here and make a change for ourselves, because they're not going to do it. I yield the mic.
Let me say something real quick before someone. Let me just say that everything that you're talking about, Bakari, is obviously it is a mindset. That's a mindset that I remember as a child. I'm 51 years old, be 52 in November of this year, or going into next year, this year. I remember as a child growing up that was sort of the mindset of black men and the women that raised me in the community that I grew up in. I grew up in one of those old school communities where you not only got a spanking and discipline from your father and mother, but you got it from your neighbors. When you were out before when the lights turned on, the lamp, they jumped on you. Everybody, from the man who you went to the store to buy now-laters from or candy, everybody knew who your parents were. When I went to hang out at my friend's house or spend the night, my mother knew their parents. It was a mindset and real community that we don't have anymore, because black people don't have, let me just say, some black people don't have that mindset. I was saying to Brother Guy that unfortunately, and Brother Hardcold, that unfortunately there are some of our people who you're never going to be able to rehabilitate, or never going to take to like fish to water. They're never going to change the way they are. They're going to perish. And then they're going to be the small percentage of people who are going to ride with that new ideology, that new thinking, or not a new thinking. They're going to go back to the basics of how our people used to operate, and they're going to be with you. And then I said to Brother Guy earlier before you brothers came on, that I believe the basics, it gets back to what you were saying, Bakari, is family. I'm responsible for how I raise my daughter. If I pass those values on to my son, my daughter, and my family operates like that, that's why I put that thumbnail on this video with the brother with his family, that if we get everything going from the nucleus of our family, you can change the narrative with what you put in your child's mind. And like you said, we have to be the ones to say, I'm not going to allow that in the household. I'm not going to allow my child to engage in that. Although we know that when your kid goes out the door, they are going to be influenced by some of this Babylon stuff in this society, but you still have to set the barometer of standards. That's what we need to do as a solution. And then I've said this about a week or two ago, instead of listening to black men on YouTube who are telling you, I can teach you how to get a lot of women, get them in the bed. I can teach you how to be red pill and all. I can teach you all this manhood stuff. Instead of listening to these funny guys on YouTube, and it is really funny when you think about it. I mean, it's funny like this. Get your son in a rites of passage program if he doesn't have a father in his life or proper male energy. Get him involved in sports and mentoring and rites of passage programs to learn manhood, as I learned from the brothers in the barbershop, the men in my community, and my own father. Get them around people that can give them the action of what it is to be a man in real time, in real life, by example, and get them away from these gurus on YouTube who say, I can teach you how to be red pill and I can teach you to screw women to sleep and all that type of nonsense. But you got to join my Patreon, and you also got to pay me $9.99. You hear what I'm saying, brothers?
I hear what you're saying.
Go right ahead, whoever wants to render their thoughts on any subject matter.
Matter of fact, let me just touch on a little on what you were just saying, because we are fighting the constant battle between what it is that we want and what we want to teach for our people. But I mean, it's not an impossible fight. You have to keep up the fight, but the powers that be, I'll just put it that way. They have the media. They have every apparatus you could think of, including this YouTube, plus entertainment, anything that gets the word out. Politicians as well, athletes, they have them all fall in line. And a lot of people out here, they don't believe that there's some centralized power, which is the money, by the way, and those who own the money. And we know who they are. They wear small hats. But there's a centralized power that gets people in line. If people can't see it right now in this day and age, I guess people will never see it. I mean, it should be more than clear to people that everybody who's in the public eye, they got to sing to a certain tune. And that's the problem that we have. That's the fight that we have to fight against. There are a lot of people out here, and it's sad, but it's true, who pose as Black power freedom fighters. I'll just put it that way. And they sound good. They look good. But when you really listen to them and then you try to ask them some questions, simple questions, then all of a sudden, truth starts getting revealed. Then little by little, you start breaking down the BS that they're putting up. And then you realize, you know what? These guys aren't what they put themselves out to be. These guys are really the house ends. These are the William O'Neills in person. And it's sad to say, but that's the way it is. And unfortunately, when you have an enemy out here who's been putting the screws to us for the longest time, the best way is to get your own people or people who look similar to you to come out and to do the job for the man. And as long as they're paying, now I don't even know if I should say this, but you know, I'll say I already started talking on it. The radical sister. You guys are familiar with her, right?
Right, I'm familiar with her. I actually interviewed her a couple of months back.
Now, she did a show the other day on Young Pharaoh's custom Corvette, which kind of looked cool. I ain't gonna lie, but see, the house, the money, throwing this girl out the house, all these things, these payoffs. Mm-hmm. The money, people can't resist money because they forced it so that you need the money, and they made it legal that you can only accept their money.
Right.
So, everybody goes to whoever pays. It's like you could take your hood guy. They could talk about they've been struggling, and if they're on a job, they say, "Hey, man, I'm just doing my job, man. I'm just trying to get paid. I got bills to pay, kids to take care of." That shows that whoever pays, that's the one they're going with. That's why the drug dealer can pay them. And they say, hey, I'm just trying to make a living. I'm just trying to eat. When you know damn well you don't need you don't need a S-Class to eat. Mm-hmm. You can eat with a Honda Accord, but you got to eat. You got to eat that good stuff. So you need a BMW, S-Class Benz. That's what you need. So whoever has the money, they kind of de facto call the shots. And they can get brother to turn on brother. It's sad, but it's the way it is. And that's what we're combating. And it's hard to do because the influences are too great.
Mm-hmm. Let me, everything you said was straight up on point. I agree with that. But to Brother Bakari, to what he was saying about black dollars, let me show you something. I interviewed this young lady a few months back. And she is the owner and operator and CEO of this particular business. It's on you can find this on your Android and your iPhone. Let me take over the screen just so people can see this. And a lot of folks that's on the channel remember me interviewing this lovely sister right here. Her name is Olivia Robinson. Let me remove something just real quick so people can see this much clearer and very precisely. So this is the thumbnail I use when I interview this sister. She has a app that will allow you, speaking to what Brother Bakari was talking about, will allow you, no matter where you live, to be able to identify black businesses. So when you talk about solutions and what we should be doing,
tell the truth.
We should be supporting a sister like this who has an app that will allow you to identify more black businesses in your area. She's also a CEO. This sister is brilliant. She's got a TED Talk that she's done. She is doing brilliant things in school. She has other business ventures that businesses that she's getting involved in. And this sister, I got a chance to talk to her at the ground level because I believe that she's going to, where she already is starting to, she's going to blow up. She is the future big time player. And so this app that she created, I think, is exactly the type of apps in businesses like hers that we should be supporting. So for those of you who say, well, I can't find a black business, I wish I could. Here's an app that will get you. So download the app, support what the sister is doing, and support a black business. That's the first thing you can do. If you're not willing to do that, then you're faking the funk. The first thing you do is support a black business. It's the best thing you can damn well do. So I wanted to put her front and center just to let everybody know where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about here, because this is very important. And so with that said, let's go back to the rest of the brothers on the panel and let them continue breaking down the knowledge.
What's the name of that app?
It's called Black Dollar App, brother. Black Dollar. Okay. Just like what you were saying. Black Dollar App.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm going to download that right now.
Thank you, brother. She definitely would appreciate the support, because the more people that actually download the app, the more relevant the app will be on the platforms, right? Because they'll see that more people are using it, which means they will do what? Eventually start pushing it and advertising it, right? But she needs black people to actually download it. And it's exactly what you're asking for. I want to have access to more black businesses in my community and around the world and where I travel. Go ahead and sign up. What you got to lose, ladies and gentlemen? And that is the truth. That is nothing but the truth.
Tell the truth.
Man, where do we go next? Let me bring up some questions. I want to get some of y'all brothers' opinion about, let's get into the OJ. What is your opinion about the OJ situation? What are your thoughts? Whether you like OJ or not, to me, it doesn't matter, because he did have his rights violated when they cut whatever deal that they ended up cutting with him, and they tried to go against it. But either here or there, OJ is out. He looks very frail. He's only a mere morsel of his once self. Only a mere morsel. He's not what he once was before. I remember growing up and watching him on Let's Do It Again. That scene with him and Sidney Poitier. Remember when they went into JJ, the guy, Jimmy Walker's room? He was a boxer, and he went in there and they hypnotized him. You are a tiger. I am a tiger. I mean, I love those programs with Bill Cosby. Of course, he's fallen short from a lot of those things because of what has happened. But brothers, what are your honest opinions about one Bill Cosby at this point in time? Go right ahead. Anybody that wants to grab onto that.
Well, I just want to say that he was, I think it was a setup. You know, he was a brother that was trying to buy NBC. He had a lot of influence to the youth. I mean, when you watch Bill Cosby show, you know, this man was a doctor, you know. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is when we got to go back to, we're visual people, right? So when we look at certain things and the movies that they show us, like, you know, either like you said, they have us portraying as pimps or as slaves or mammies. You know, these are negative stereotypes that this is what they telling you, this is what you should be, you know, and we're not like that. We always been doctors and lawyers. I mean, I mean, all throughout history, we've been always had great professions. But
I wanted to say this. I had a little boo-boo. I meant to say Bill Cosby, not OJ. I'm sorry if I said that. But, you know, but it's almost like they one and the same, you know, with a lot of the shit that's been going on. But I don't know why I keep saying OJ. Yeah, I apologize for that, ladies and gentlemen. I meant to say Bill Cosby, and I did have Bill Cosby picture up, but I've been making that mistake lately. I don't know. Maybe I got OJ on the mind. I mean, shit. Anyway, go right ahead, brother. Sorry to cut you off.
That's all right. But yeah, I mean, this man had great influence to our people. You know what I'm saying? He was, when you look at Bill Cosby, he was very educated. He has all his family was successful. I mean, you talk about the perfect Black family, you know what I'm saying? And we always talking about family, right? Right. So this is what he was trying to do. This is the reason why he was going hard on all the degeneracy that he sees in our people. You know what I'm saying? I don't blame him for that. We do, but he was just showing us that, hey, we could be great too. We can have a powerful family base as too. So that's the reason why he wanted to buy. This man was almost a billionaire where he could buy NBC. So they said, no, we can't have that, because we have to have some sort of control of the media. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, the other brother, he sold BET, and that could have been a great program, but now they took that. Now, of course, somebody white own it now. Now that's corrupted. So he was trying to destroy this negative stereotype of our people. So what do and look, this is nothing new. They always take good people and they try to destroy them or weaken us or send them. Either they kill us or send us to jail for long sentences. They did it with Nelson Mandela. He was a revolutionary. Now all of a sudden he came back out 27 years later. Now he's talking about, we should all come together and all this other stuff. When Black folks back in those days, they was like, yo, we ready to fight. So they do whatever they can to weaken us, and that's what they did. They did like you said, and he's frail and he's not the same. He's not the same.
Right. Let me just say this to Jasmine Virgo, who says my writing is not in yellow. That's because I'm using my second channel. So when you see me putting messages inside, I got 2 computers up here, got a bunch of gadgets up here. I also have my second channel on. So because this computer is closest to me over here to my left side, I'm putting things in, and then I have my computer to my right side over here, another computer that's got my actual channel that I'm on right now. If I put a message in there, like for example, I'll do this for a minute, you'll see that I actually can highlight mine. So don't trip off of that. It's just that I got this computer over here where I'm using the second channel. You'll see me in there in blue on the second channel. Don't trip off of that. But everything is A-OK, Jasmine Virgo. Thank you for looking after me and making sure that everything is functioning right. Brother Guy, you on money. Let me play you all a 57 shortened version of the pound cake speech by Bill Cosby as a reminder to everybody exactly what we're talking about, because Bill did have his criticism for Black people. And I have to admit, there were things in what he said that had some validity to it, although it's still hard for us to hear it and then see him get himself in a pickle and say, well, come on, Bill, now you judging us, but you got yourself in a pickle with these white women. But I get the fact that he does speak in some validity. And here we go. This is, ladies and gentlemen, let me start off here. This is the breaking news right now.
Information is power.
Pound cake speech, or what's also been called the Gettysburg Address.
People getting shot in the back of the head over a piece of pound cake. Brown versus the Board of Education is no longer the white person's problem. We've got to take the neighborhood back.
In the speech, Cosby blasted people in poor Black communities for failing to be good parents, for spending hundreds on designer shoes, but refusing to invest in their kids' education.
Brown versus the Board of Education. These people who marched and were hit in the face with rocks and punched in the face to get an education. And we got these knuckleheads walking around, don't want to learn English.
The reception for many in the Black community was harsh. Others, however, saw it as a wake-up call for families to begin taking responsibility.
That's a small portion of the pound cake speech that a lot of black people were very upset with Bill Cosby for speaking in that manner. And then there were black people that were saying that he spoke the truth.
Tell the truth.
And this is exactly what Brother Guye Nollywood is talking about, that, you know, Bill Cosby, love him or hate him, he did make some points that we got to clean ourselves up. We got to have respect for ourselves and things of that nature. We can't be taking each other's lives over the most littlest things. And I think Bill Cosby was speaking facts. But I'm going to stop right there and see who else wants to dig into the Cosby situation.
Well, let me say a little something. I agree with Guye Nollywood Jr. And I look at it like this. It's cool to tell or to instruct black people on something. First of all, before I even get to that, let me just say that it's been clear that the whole thing was the farce of Hollywood craziness, a whole bunch of madness going on with that Cosby trial. That madness that just wouldn't pass anything that was real. But for Cosby to go on that, what I call talking crap about black people tour, that's what I call it. I thought it's fine if you have true meaning behind it, but when you have the cameras behind it and you're talking crap to the media, I question the motive. See, from the outside, it seemed like, okay, well, this man is timing it up. That's what it seemed like from the outside. So I don't know what happened on the inside, but from the outside, that's the way it seemed. And I always question when he, you know, it's easy once you're an entertainer, athlete, you have millions of dollars and a lot of success to try to tell people, do this, do that, and you can get like me. But I always look at it from the simple standpoint. Take away the entertainment, take away the sports and the millions of dollars. Then how do you measure Bill Cosby's success? What millions would he get without being an entertainer? That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
So before you go trying to instruct people on how we should live, you should ask the question, being the fact that he's an older guy and comes from those old times, you know, when it's really rough. If you didn't have entertainment to bail you out, but that college education have gotten you the hundreds of millions of dollars. And we know what the answer is. So I think it wasn't a good look for Bill Cosby to do that. Once he got caught up, he already knew, you know, why this whole, because it's Hollywood weirdness. That's what it really is all about. Right. You know, you can get into that for another episode in the future, I guess. But it's Hollywood weirdness. And I didn't feel bad for him because he got caught into it, because I'm like, okay, he was telling us how we should live, and look how he was living. So, I mean, whatever backdoor deals he made in Hollywood to cause all this, because, you know, if you watch some videos, I don't know if they're on YouTube, but a lot of people, that's why I hate the censorship on YouTube. People used to put those videos up that broke it down about a whole lot of things. And now they take it away, but you got to go to other sites now. But it's a bunch of weirdness. I just say, I'm glad he's out, though, because the trial was bogus. But he is a hypocrite. And at the very least, he cheated on his wife, but that's between the two of them.
Right. Yeah, I do find that interesting that he allowed himself. I was saying on my podcast the other night that, I hope all of you agree with me, that when you are a public figure as a black man, you're well known, whatever you may want to be, whatever you want to call it, they study our weakness. So if your weakness is that you got a thing for white women, i.e. Bill Cosby, i.e. Jack Johnson, the boxer, who they were able to force him to finally lose a fight because he was in exile because of his taste for white women and fast cars and fur coats or whatever the hell he was doing back in the 20s, 1900s, I guess, in those days. Or when you look at a Marion Barry, who a lot of black folks kept voting back in the office because he actually did a lot of things for black people back in D.C. But Marion Barry got himself caught up in a room and he got himself set up. Even O.J. has his weaknesses, right? Now I'm saying O.J. So they look at what black men, what's our weakness? Is it drugs? Is it women? Is it particularly white women? What is it? And then they use that to eventually say, we're going to knock this Negro out of the box. by using his appetite that he has for white women, whatever it may be. So when everybody this is the thing that I disagree with. Everybody keeps saying that they did this to Bill Cosby because he was going to try to buy NBC. Wait a minute. If I'm a white man or a white corporation and I own NBC, I can sell NBC to whoever I want to sell it to. Why would I need to go through an elaborate conspiracy by getting a lot of women to bring Bill Cosby down because I don't want him to buy the network? And then there's a question of whether NBC was even for sale in the first place. But that's the conspiracy that a lot of us say, oh, it's because of that, right? No, they brought him down because, yes, he was becoming too big for his britches. But this is what you have to look at, just like we were talking about the Black Panther Party. You got to look at what Bill Cosby was doing that was helping the black community in terms of the donations to black colleges, historical black colleges, the images that he was putting on television, different world in even whether you believe black people lived like that or not on the Cosby Show. It really set a precedence, which really encouraged a lot of black women and particularly black men to do what? Go to college. When a lot of black men were rapping back in the day, most of the rap videos were on college campuses. So that also made the black community or black young people say, I want to go to college. It looks cool. The girls are hot. They stay chilling. I want to go to college. So he was doing a culture change. And just like the Black Panther Party, they weren't really concerned with the Black Panthers' militancy. They were more concerned with the Black Panther having health programs, education programs, food programs, protecting the community. So once Bill Cosby was doing something that was transforming black society, that's when he became a threat and they had to get him out of the box. Not because he wanted to buy NBC. It's because of other things he was doing, and they knew, how can we get rid of Bill Cosby? Well, the one thing we can do to credit him, destroy him, is that he's got a taste for white women. And we know he used to hang out in the Playboy Club and bust that ass like all the white boys used to do. But see, you can't do what the white boys do. As a black man, they're going to make an example out of you when they're ready to get rid of you. And that's what they did, in my opinion, to Bill. They used his taste and for white women, and they turned it against him. And a lot of those white women, they either were down for the sex, they either were trying to get something out of Bill. They were all, if you look at all those women, they all had some credibility issues. Not to mention that a lot of those women were during the 60s and 70s where you had free love and sex. They were down with some of that business, right? And Bill probably treated them like common whores when they thought they were going to have a big time career. And they got upset and said, you know what, this is my chance to dump on this Negro because he didn't hook me up back when I gave him some of this coochie. Things of that nature. I'll stop right there.
Yeah, if I was Bill, I'd just be more embarrassed about how these hoes look right now and having people think that I did my thing with those. You know? I mean, it's crazy. Once upon a time that they actually looked halfway decent, I guess, you know?
I mean, they either threw themselves at Bill or Bill. And I gotta be honest. Bill has been consistent when he says, I never drugged these women purposely. I always offered it to them. And that's true. Roofies were a big party drug back in the day. It was commonplace, just like cocaine lines were commonplace. It's true.
You know what? You're absolutely right. The roofies will come. My thing is, how do you drug a drug addict? Just think about it. Just think about that. We saw crackheads. Growing up, we saw people that was addicted to crack. How can you drug them? You get them some crack, they're happy. Right. My thing is, Bill admitted what he did with the woman at Temple University, right? Mm-hmm. The coach, whatever. And it was supposed to have been, sealed. He talked about it and they used it and it was wrong. All that other stuff they talk about and what he went to jail for, he should not have been in jail. Like I said, you can't drug a drug. They all women were happy as hell. Shit, they was probably giving Bill some until they, they run out. And Bill had the ability to get more. Bill had the ability to keep the party going. They didn't have access to everything like Bill Cosby. But one thing, you know, that I was always taught from the time I was a little bitty boy, I was born into this lifestyle, right? I was born into the lifestyle of revolution. I was raised by a man and a woman who was in this lifestyle, right? And one thing my father always told me, you have to be careful. Don't trust them. And you have to be able to see the future. And I'm gonna give a little quick story right quick about what he meant. Because I always asked my dad, you know, before he passed, I was a little kid. I wasn't even born yet when the job was offered. I said, why did you turn down $150,000 back in the 60s, right? To go to, I'm from Mississippi, to go to New York, right? And my daddy said, this is what he told me. He said, they wouldn't offering me a job because they wanted me to do work. He said they wanted me out the way. They wanted me out the way so they could do what they were doing. And at the time, they was trying to shut down the HBCUs in Mississippi. And my father wanted a law so where they couldn't shut them down. Actually, the state of Mississippi had to pay them some money. But he was like, once they finished doing what they were doing, they were going to fire me anyway. So I didn't take the money because it was best for me to stay here and do what I had to do. And that's the thing about it. You have to be able to, if you're in this lifestyle, you have to be able to see the future. You have to be able to see, if you're a man, those beautiful women they're going to send to you to try to get you in a trap. You understand? Like you just said, they're going to study you and know your weakness, right? So you know what your weakness is. And since you know they're studying you, you have to be careful of the traps that they are setting for you. You understand? When they start offering this extra exorbitant amount of money, we can give you $5 million for a job that might pay $350,000, $400,000. We can give you, you understand? So the money is a trap. They know you need money. So they try to use everything to trap you. And once they trap you, once you get what you want, they want to be able to pull you away from who you are, pull you away from your people. They want to be able to teach you to be like them. Keep your skin, but use their brain, if that makes sense. And that's what they want to do. Because when we see you, when I see the information man, I see a brother. When the information man see me, since my camera ain't on, turn it on. When the information man see me, the information man see a brother. So we gonna greet each other as brothers. But if I have fallen for their traps, you see a brother, but when I speak, I'm gonna speak like your enemy. But when you first see me, you're pulling for me. But I have got in so deep where I can't speak up for Guy. I can't speak up for Hardcore. I can't speak up for Information Man. I can't speak up for no one in the chat because I have fallen for their traps and taken everything they have given me. So now I'm stuck. And now when y'all do y'all show, man, did y'all see that damn Bakari? He ain't nothing but a damn coon. He used to be out here because I've fallen for their traps. And that's what's going to happen. And we have to be able to see the future. We have to be able to figure this out because they're coming for us. The more we talk about building and the more we start to build, the more everybody is going to come for us because everybody in this society, in this country, eat off us. Everybody in the world eat off black people. We feed the world from here. Everything here they want to copy. They get all of the damn natural resources from Africa. We feed the world, so they are constantly coming. They want our style. They want the way we speak, even though it's dumb when we saying it, but it's cool when they do it. The way we dress. Then they go to Africa. They want our diamonds, our gold, our coltan, our tin, our oil. Just keep on naming all of the minerals. They want all of the culture. So once we see their traps, we gonna stop falling for it.
Let me go. I want to show y'all something when we talk about these white women that Bill Cosby got himself entangled with that led to some of these problems. Let me show you all a picture that will definitely speak volumes to how they set you up. Check this out in just one moment. Let me take over the screen and let you all see this. I want everybody to see this. This is a lesson to be learned in this. And let me let y'all see this right now. So you see that right there? That's Bill on the screen. Let me take something off there so you can see everything very clearly. That's Bill on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. Who does he have all around him with their hands around him, lusting with sexual thoughts in their mind? All these three women on here, white women on here, you know that they're taking a picture with Bill. They're excited. You got one with her arm around him. Now, I wonder if any three of these white women are the same white women that are accusing him of saying that he did harm to them, like raped them. I wonder how many of these women that are on this picture are actually the women that are a part of that 40. And there were many women like this who were draping themselves around Bill, that were giving it up consensually, and then could later on say that, oh, Bill did this to me because Bill didn't give them a career and put them on stardom, right? He didn't put them on, as we call it today. He didn't blow them up. He didn't give them the clout. So this just is an example right here of a Bill Cosby who was a married man to Kamala. And here he's got white women all draped on him, looking at him with desire in their eyes. So this picture, ladies and gentlemen, speaks volumes. It's the truth. Volumes.
Are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
It speaks volumes in my mind.
Tell the truth.
Speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. And then OJ gets himself in this pickle.
Tell the truth.
And then he gets himself in this mess. It speaks 100% volume. That's why I wanted to show y'all all of that, the audience and the brothers that are on the panel, because it all speaks 100% volume, as I said before, volumes. Now I'm going to get back to the brothers on here. Okay. You saw for yourself that's a legitimate photograph. I did nothing doctored. Bill Cosby had a taste for it. And that's just the truth, whether people want to believe it or not. It's just the truth. Okay.
You like that
Go right
vanilla
ahead.
pudding pop, huh?
But that picture to me speaks volumes, because I wonder how many of those women were really draping themselves on Bill and then later on saying that Bill actually did something. And he never really got convicted, if you think about it, of actually raping anybody. That's not why they kept him in. That's not how it went down. But nobody wants to wrap their head around that under the law. See, when the law works for, and I'm not trying to be a big cheerleader for Bill, but I'm just being honest here. When the law works for a black man like Bill Cosby, and even OJ when he got himself in his mess, everybody wants to call foul on the law. Oh, this is technicality. But when white men get off like this, like Epstein, who they say supposedly was found dead in New York, supposedly they're supposed to have been watching him. A man who should have been in prison a long time ago when he got off scot-free from the sheriff's department in Florida when he raped a girl who said she was raped. When the white boys get away with it, they say, oh, well, that's how the law works. When the black man is able to circumvent the law through the legal system, they say it's a tragedy. It's a travesty. I'll stop there.
Yeah. Those are cold words we gotta pay attention to when they use certain words like that. As you know, yeah, they that's what they do. They take your weakness and they use it against you. And we have to recognize our people got to recognize their weakness, but he was a voice of consciousness. He told, he was, when I heard Bill, it just sounded like he would just sound very frustrated. you know, when you see how people doing all this degeneracy stuff that's going on. And even in the YouTube, you know, I remember Hardcore said this best. He said that you got a lot of these goofy guys on YouTube, and they use all this N-word towards the enemy. I mean, they use the N-word towards, you know, to the other black people, but they don't use the derogatory words when it comes down to other races of people.
Well, brother, but all of us on this panel have probably been on other panels where black men have argued with each other. Now, I've been on panels where I've had to go off on people because they were disrespectful, so I went there. So I've had my moments, but usually when I have my moments, it's because I was disrespected. Right. And so, and I'm not going to go for that. But what I notice on YouTube, particularly within the black sector, is that we sure feel, sometimes it appears this way, we feel very comfortable doxing each other, talking about one another, putting people's kids on Front Street that had nothing to do with this YouTube shit, threatening to take people's life. I'm saying in general, black people tend to have no problem with bringing it to those that look like us. But when it comes to people that are really our enemies, who are playing what we said before, psychological warfare on us, physical warfare on us, controlling all forms of media to destroy us, which is part of psychological warfare, and there's symbolisms that they use to destroy us as well. We don't bring it to them, but we have no problem bringing it to one of our own. And I have a problem with this, and I know people are going to probably be critical of me saying this. I have a problem with people who claim to be B1. And they say I'm B1, and then when I look at their channel, most all the time they're fighting with other black people. How can you be B1 and claim your channel is B1, but you spend most of your time fighting against other black men and black women? That's not B1. Now, I do understand this. I will preference this. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do, because you get some folks that get on here and they're disrespectful to you. They're doxing you. They're putting your personal information out there. So I understand that sometimes you're going to be in a battle with some of your own people that do this to you. I get that. Sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do. I understand that. But overall, I believe that you can't truly be B1 if spending most of your time fighting other black people more than you are fighting the true enemy. And when you bring other people's children into the equation, you have just crossed the line. And that is not what a man should be doing. If you got a problem with me, then your aim should be at me. Don't bring my child into it, because my child is not on YouTube. They are minor. They didn't choose to get on YouTube and say anything about you. So they shouldn't even be in the equation of the argument of the battle. That's where I stand. That's where I stand, brothers.
I wanted to say this too. You're right. That's true. And when we go back, talk about Bill Cosby. I do notice that, yeah, he probably been with these white women. I'm getting feedback. Getting feedback. Let me mute. I'll mute myself as well. But somebody. Okay. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You getting
okay? I don't hear no more. We're good. So I think what Bill Cosby was trying to say, we have to take our destinies in our own hands. We have to be what they call unapologetic, right? And I think that's what Marcus Garvey always said. We got to control our own conditions and stuff like that. So and that's why I say I don't. Even with Bill Cosby, he probably been with all these white women, but he didn't marry a white woman. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing too, where we got to talk about wealth.
That's true.
Right?
He didn't
let's
marry
talk about wealth. So when you marry somebody, you marry their whole family. So when OJ married that white woman, he married their whole family. He was taking care of her. He was taking Nicole Simpson's her whole family. So when Bill Cosby, yeah, he probably had fun with these white women. But when he came out to marry a woman, he married a black woman. So his wealth So when he passed, if he passed away, guess where his wealth is going? To the black woman, to the family. So, I mean, yes, I mean, you know, it is hypocritical where he's been with these white women, whatever. But hey, you know what? How many white men, they do it too? They sleep with black women and use them and treat them like shit. And then, but when it comes down to marrying, they marry their own people. So I try not to look at the negative like that. I try to see the positive, what he tried to do. And like you were saying about the Bill Cosby show and the what's it called, the other show he had, the college.
He had the Different World.
Yeah.
Those
things, the Fat Albert. Those things I appreciate. Those things that I will give kudos. But I'm not going to sit there and just talk about, you know, what he did. He didn't marry those white women. He don't owe those white women nothing. And I'm glad he didn't marry them.
Right.
So,
So
we got to talk. But so that's another thing we got to talk about. We got to talk about when we marry our own, where we got to know where our wealth is going. God forbid something happens to us.
Well,
you know
I would challenge this is my challenge to all the brothers that are on the panel right now and those that were listening. You know, nobody is promised the next day. We've always heard that. What you need to set stuff up. You should have a trust fund for your child, son, your whole family, whatever. Set things up in advance, because if you drop to the floor and leave the third dimension tomorrow and you leave a mess, that's the thing that always tripped me out about a lot of our black celebrities like James Brown and all the rest of them. They die, and then because they didn't set things up properly, they leave a complete mess behind. And then you got black folks fighting over this and that. And then you got black women coming out of the woodworks talking about, well, I was his mistress and he promised me this, right? You should have a living will. You should be preparing. If you got family, prepare things so that if something happens, nobody can come in, because you can always fight and contest a will. Anybody can come out the woodworks and say, well, you know, he promised me this. Hard Code told me that I get this, right? So we got to be, as black men, we got to be more prepared for our families so that when we leave this earth, we don't leave a mess behind.
Right.
And unfortunately, some of us have a problem with that in general.
Look at DMX.
You know? He left a mess behind. And then we find out that DMX didn't have much money. Remember Tupac and Biggie, when they died, both their parents couldn't find shit. They didn't have the cars and the houses that they were in. They did not own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we have to talk about. we got guys.
I'm sorry.
I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to say we have to really talk about, focus on generational wealth.
Yes.
Right. So when we talk about when something happens to us, we got to leave something for our babies. We got to leave something. So that's what we got to talk about, getting to stocks and whatever we have to do. So our children don't have to suffer, you know, like you said, leave a big mess, you know, having all these women and they claiming, oh, well, I'm his first, I had his baby and all that. It just leaves. So we have to have some, like, I remember Hardcore said it best. We need structure. I remember when the brother said that we need some sort of structure, and we don't have that. We lost that.
Well, let me ask you this question then. Wouldn't it be the responsibility, like, for example, this is the thing that gets me on YouTube as we get to conclusion for tonight. A lot of brothers will say, well, you know, the boys are growing up very effeminate. The women are making bad choices with the men that they're choosing to lay up with and what have you. Although the last time I checked, it takes two to tango, meaning a man has to impregnate a woman. A man has to make a choice as well, what type of quality of woman that he lays down with. However, women have to make better decisions with the kind of men that they lay down with that are not men that really want to create family. But the thing that always gets me is that brothers will say, well, the boys are becoming effeminate. And then I would say to brothers, well, how do you expect them to not stay that way? It's not going to change if men are not in the community or not in the equation, right? So that's why if we want to change some of our problems, men have to be the solution to this problem, because if you're going to say that you're a master of your fate, a captain of your own soul, and that you're alpha and you're all these different things, and that women need to follow your lead and submit to you, as some brothers like to say, in order to do that, attitude reflects leadership. Nobody's going to follow a person that they don't believe in. So black men, and you got brothers that will say, well, I don't want to be no cleanup man. If you're going to complain about the community and say that it's ruining everything, it cannot change if you're not in the equation, because a black young man does not know how to be a man if he never had a man around him to teach him. That's why I must say heavily that it's important for young men, if they don't have a father, for mothers to get your son in a mentor and rites of passage program. If you live in Philadelphia in particular, connect with George Makem. He has the Urban Nerds Worldwide, which I'm a big supporter of. Urban Nerds Worldwide. You got Q Butter, who has the Zion Institute, where he's working with youth. Find black men that are doing these sort of activities in the community, and get your son and your daughters involved in these type of programs. This is the only way you change the narrative. That's why when I'm on panels, I'll say to brothers, are you supporting an organization that is doing the work that you may not be able to do if you don't have the time? Because the first thing that some brothers will say was, I don't have the time. And then I'll say, well, won't you donate to an organization that does the work that you can't do? Are you involved in a program where you're physically working with youth, or donating to a program? And when you bring up those couple of topics like that, it gets as quiet on a panel to the point that you can hear a rat pissing on cotton, because that's when people get quiet. And then you find out right away that they're not really about that life. They just want to talk about it on YouTube. But when it comes to saying what are the solutions, they don't have a solution. And so it becomes a redundant circular conversation where you have black men 7 days a week, 365 days a year, talking about the same issues about women over and over and over again with no solutions.
Right, all to keep up a show. You know,
Right.
let me touch on something you said, Information Man, in regards to what they call Black YouTube. Because I was just thinking about what you were saying. I was thinking about that the other day. Because I don't want to call out YouTuber names, because there's some people may know about, may not know about, but when I find some of these hood type channels, the one, like you were saying, the one trend I notice is it always involves doxing, talking crap, dissing. That's all it is, back and forth beasts with black YouTube. And I try to think to myself, it may exist, but I haven't run into Asians doing it often. I haven't run into white people doing it to each other, but black people do it. And I'm like, that seems to be all that most black people get on YouTube to do, you know? And then the sad part is, quiet as it's kept, those channels stay on the air, but the people who are saying something keep getting threatened or getting taken down.
For example, if we were on this, I've noticed this, and I know this is why I know that YouTube is rigged. If we were on this panel right now and we were calling each other N-words and F you, I'm gonna whoop your butt, Cole, this, and Guy, I'm gonna get you, man. I'm coming for you. Yeah, come and get it. Come and get it. I'm flying in the plane tomorrow. I'm gonna whoop your. If we were on here back and forth talking complete nonsense, or if we were talking about women like a dog, negative things, guess what? You would see an increase in viewership in my watch box. It would begin to go up, and more people would come in and be like, look, they're going at it. And then my numbers would go up. I noticed that. However, when you are having an intelligent conversation and you're talking about solutions, and black men are conducting themselves as men, your numbers will be fluctuating up and down like they have been on my channel. Up and down. People coming in, people going out, but the numbers really never get astronomical, right? Now, check this out. I did a story about the BET award on my second channel. I could do more polarizing content on this channel and my second channel, and I might get 80, 90, whatever people coming in when I do polarizing content. That's sort of pop culture content. Right? Well, if I have a sister like the sister I had on an interview, some of our people may not watch that because it's not a car crash. And YouTube appears to reward channels that engage in car crash. And I don't understand. And then the more I get subscribers, and I can't even break out of my 10,000 subscribers, I can't even get to my 11,000 because every time I'm getting people, YouTube is chipping away at my subscribership. They're like, I'm losing people. And I know I'm not losing people because I'm a terrible content creator. I know it's because my channel presents a threat in which I'm speaking some truths, and they say we got to make sure we suppress this guy. Don't let him get bigger numbers. And then when I end this is another game that you play. I may have 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 people sometimes watching me. And I'll say, and then when I end the stream, it'll say that I had 500 or 600 people watching me when I end the stream, as it increases over time as people watch the video. And I'm saying to myself, if I actually have that many people watching me, why does YouTube not allow the 600 and 500 to be shown in the watch box? Why is it that you see this big number the minute you push in stream?
Yeah, I noticed that too.
What's that game? Because YouTube doesn't really want people to see how many people are actually watching your channel if you are a channel that's not into effery. If you're a channel that's actually contributing to benefiting the community, they have to suppress your numbers, shadow ban you, and make it look like you're not relevant. While other channels that deal in BS and bull crap, they get 100 and 200 shown in the box and the whole 9 yard. Maybe I'm sounding like a little crybaby kid right now, but I'm saying there's something that is unkosher here. Something that doesn't make sense. I'm going to stop there.
You're definitely right. Other people have been talking about it, like the radical sister. And I used to think, come on, are these people for real? And then I'm like, yeah, it seems, because I see what happened to her channel. I see it happens to other people's channel. I saw it happen to my last channel, which had a lot better numbers than this one. And I noticed on the last channel, it was so obvious that something slick was going on. One every other day, I get 10 subs. Then every other day after that, 10 losses. And it kept going back and forth for a year. And it was always 10, even number 10. I said, something's up. You're muted.
Second channel, I get the same thing. I'll get 10 here, 5 there. So I think they're trying to keep channels like this from growing and growing. Let me do this. Let me be respectful. Let me shout out Marlo's music channel, who's coming in the house saying peace to me, peace to you, brother. Let me say shout out to Queen I Know I Am. She's been rocking with the discussion since the very beginning. Thank you. RY is in the house. Let me see. We got Jasmine Virgo, who's still rocking with us. We got Bonnie Rose, who's still rocking with us. Y'all give Bonnie Rose some support on her channel. She needs it. Peggy Roster is in the house rocking with us. And there's people that's come in and out. I know this stream has been on for a long time, so people have to navigate through their personal lives as they're watching. But I want to thank everybody in the chat room. I want to give you all a clap because you deserve it. Not that, you deserve the clap. Not a laugh. Thank you for rocking with us. And ladies and gentlemen, the stream is about to come to a conclusion, but I still want to hear the the great statements that are left for Hard Code to speak on. And then I want to rally back over to Bakari to have him say his great words. And then, because Guye Nollywood was the guest of honor on the program today, a clap for him again. Yes, I want to have Guye Nollywood Jr. close us out with his great words. I like to say great words instead of last words. I don't like that. So Hard Code, go ahead.
All right, I'd like to say thank Guye Nollywood, Bakari. These are some brothers that are definitely dedicated to their cause. And I'd like to thank you for inviting me here as well. And, we've been trying to figure out as far as the algorithms are concerned. It's rough. Part of me saw that once you get a foothold, because from my last channel, I was getting 200 in the lives and everything, and then nothing, not too much as it was now. I get like maybe 50 tops now. It's like, it's crazy. But overall, I think what we need to do as a people, we need to get educated. I suggest that everybody get at least an associate's degree. Mm-hmm. If you would go through that, that would actually prevent a lot of the ghetto type arguments that we see on YouTube, which a lot of people like. I admit I was in some of that stuff. I like to entertain it. I'm not gonna lie. Every now and then, I want some entertainment, but overall, that's not what we need to have. And we need to understand that when we're on YouTube, it's not just the people you want to direct it to that's watching and listening. It's everybody. And that could be people who are against you, people who are investigating you. Again, when I mentioned that first 48, what's one of the first things that they always do when they have a suspect in mind? Check the Facebook. So they are looking at you, and unfortunately, a lot of these idiot criminals out here, they actually got Facebook. I saw one episode, the guy killed 2 people. The cops are like, man, we don't know who this guy is. Once they got a nickname, they checked the Facebook, they said, there he is. All of it, from every angle. I said, real name, real phone number. I said, these people are stupid.
Wow.
But education will prevent a lot of things, and it'll promote brotherhood and unity. Mm-hmm. And the drugs, again, lastly, we just can't, people who are addicted are already addicted, but at least try to help your child's future out. Don't get them to start drinking and smoking just because you want them to chill. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let them chill in their own way.
I agree with everything that you just said, brother. Well, I'll have to definitely have you come back. I've just to let you know, I've checked out your videos when you had the other channel as well. And you were very thorough in the things that you talked about, history, breaking down, just breaking down and evaluating who's real and who's fake. I'm just glad that I haven't been on an episode where you said there's this guy named Information Man, called the Information Man show, and I just want to know, is he real or is he an agent?
Now, you haven't turned out to be an agent. And the same thing with my man, Brother Ron on We All Be TV. That's another guy I like too.
But no, I keep, I try to keep it 100% real. I think what you said is true. I think educating yourself now, if you can't go to college, the first step that you should do in educating yourself is to start looking up books and various authors. Let me ask you this, Hardcore. Can you recommend some books that you would tell people to read to start educating themselves in some areas? What books would you recommend?
Well, believe it or not, a lot of people might find it shocking, but I find the books that J.A. Rogers wrote as a good start for everybody. But it depends on your interest too. I don't think people should have interest forced on them. Go for whatever it is you're into. If you're into electronics, do some of that. Go into whatever direction you want to go into. But if you want to learn about us, you got to read books written by people from our perspective, because if you don't do that, because you'll become a forever skeptic when somebody says that such and such Romans were black, Greeks were black, or something like that. You'll say, I can't believe this because the white man didn't tell it, or I have not seen it. That's because you haven't seen it. But once you investigate these things, then you'll have an open mind. You'll be shocked. And then you'll say, what the hell is really going on? I had to go through that. Everybody else, I'm sure you went through that. Everybody had to go through that at some point in time.
Right. You're on the money there. Well, brother, I appreciate you coming on board today. Appreciate your words. And you were on fire. Let me go over to Bakari to let him say great words before I get to our guest of honor, Brother Guye Nollywood, and let him bring us on home. But Bakari, what do you want to lay on the people as your great words as we come to the conclusion of this stream today, brother?
Oh, excuse me. First of all, thank you for letting me come on your panel.
No problem.
Man.
No problem. No doubt.
Oh yeah, now, guy got your information. I have some shirts that I'm going to give them to a couple of people that have platforms that I respect, and he going to send you what it looked like, and if you want it, and if it's okay, I can get your information, and I'm going to just send the shirt out, but then I'm going to put them up for sale later. But I want you to check it out to see if you like it, because I know you know, and they'll let you wear it. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay, I would appreciate that. We can connect. Hey, just if you want to know how to get in contact with me. And what's up, Native Dialogue? Thank you. Yeah, I was on Olivia with Conscious TV, and we were getting into it, and you know, I had to hold my own, brother. Had to hold my own. But if you go to my channel, you can find my email in my about page. It's codewave06 at Gmail. I got nothing to hide. You can email me. And if you want to connect off of line by number, we can do that. Just send me an email, and you can find it on the about page of my channel on this channel page. And do me a favor too, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the second channel, the podcast, because I'm gonna be going hard over there almost every night during the week. But Natives Dialogue. Thank you for coming over. And supporting what I'm doing over here. Thank you. Now, but Kari, I'm sorry if I cut you off. I want you to continue with what you were trying to present to the people.
Yeah, and you too, Hardcore. When I put that in the chat, they say black love plus black dollars equal black power. I sell those. I have those t-shirts. They're about to go for sale. Even in the avatar I have up there now that says black people don't owe the world nothing but an ass whooping. I'm going to have those. Those. So which one do you like the best? That'll be the one that you, that's the one you'll get. Black love plus black dollars equal black power, or black people don't owe the world nothing but an ass whooping. I got that from the great Dr. John Henry Clark, by the way. Okay. You two all call. But once again, I want to thank you. I thank the chat, man. Everything was good. When you talk about a lot of these YouTube cats, I ain't gonna call nobody name because I try not to call people name. Try not to. But I know some of these YouTube cats. There's a couple of them here, right here in Atlanta area, and what's going on in Cobb County since the pandemic and after the pandemic, a lot of people being evicted, right? So you know, if stuff going on, it hurt black people more than anybody else. And you see people with 10, 8, 9, 10,000 subscribers, and people ask them to come out to the county commissioner's meeting, right? So we can talk about this. They won't get from behind the computer. And I know this because someone called me, they called me and asked me if I would come. Well, you know, all you got to do is call me, tell me the time, and I'm going to be there. Because I really enjoy, excuse me, I enjoy getting in their face. I enjoy letting them know what time it is, and I enjoy letting them know how we feel. I'm being honest. I really enjoy it when I get to have a discussion with these people to let them know how we feel, how black people feel. It's not just me. I'm not doing anything specifically for me. You understand? I love my people. So I can take that time out of my day. And I understand if you have to work and you can't take the time off, there's one thing. But to just say, oh, I'm doing my work on YouTube, we have to get up. The revolution is not going to be on YouTube. The change is not going to be on YouTube. True. That's why I say I don't respect a lot of these YouTube. That's why I don't respect a lot of these people on YouTube. I really don't watch the beefing channels. I've had people do a couple of videos about me, and my response was, you should find somebody else to beef with to help your channel grow, because I only got like 300 subscribers. I'm not gonna beef with you. Don't nobody even know me. So what's the purpose of you? What's the purpose of you cursing me out? I'm not gonna send it back to you anyway. So you can go, I made a promise to my kids. I said, y'all will not see me in public berating and arguing and cursing out and belittling black people. That's not what we'll do. I have picked up the telephone and called a couple of people that said something about me, though. Let's talk about it on the telephone. Don't ever do that no more, because I'm not going to do you like that. You understand? And I think it's a code we have to live by. And I hear our people say, I'm in Cobb County, my brother, right here. I'm in Cobb County. I hear a lot of people say, get on code, get on code. I tell people I don't get on code. I live by code. Right. And if you live by that code, You never have to get on code. It's already in you, right? So if the code is in you, the code is in me to protect Black women. You understand? Protect Black children. When you was talking about mentoring, I was raised that way. So I've been part of a mentoring program. I get young kids and I take them fishing. But the crazy thing, I met this one, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna just go because I'm rambling. But I was talking to this young man that I know, and I finally met his father. I didn't even know his father was in his life. And when he came, his father came out to talk to me. Well, you should have heard how he was. Well, you know, I beat that new ass. He trying to come up and talk smart to me. You could have heard how he was talking about his son. He a little M and F, a little B, the little N word. And I'm like, that's why this is why your son don't even mention you. He would say the father is not in his life. But I talk to that young man all the time. He stayed with his grandmama and his auntie. I know his grandma. But when I met the auntie and we was talking about fishing and all that, again, the auntie was a little kind of standoffish, and I understand because she don't know me. But the grandma know me. But this is what I would say to Black women: if a father is not there and a man and he's part of a mentoring program, because the grandmother knew me from a mentoring program. See what the mentoring program is about. See what that man is about before you let him deal with your child. But if a man is not there and there's a man out there willing, and it's a group of them, and they want to take time with young Black men to show them how to be a man, give them the opportunity to deal with your son, get to know him, talk to him, see what their program is about. Because I told this young man 3 years ago, and I told him right in front of his friend, if you keep hanging with him, you're going to be in prison. I hadn't seen him for like a year. I'm like, man, where you been? Every time he see me, he come to me, talk to me. Man, you was right. I said, what you mean I was right? I just did a year in jail.
Right.
With the same guy? Yeah. He was doing this and doing this, and he talked me into going with him. I said, I told you it was going to happen. But he's a good kid. He's a good, respectful young man. He's not disrespectful at all. He's not. So I can still deal with him. I don't care. He made that mistake, you know? So we still have to deal with our youth and try to get them out of those situations, man. And once again, I thank you for allowing me on your platform, Information Man. I appreciate that. Hey, hardcore, get at me, bro.
Okay, brother.
Y'all need to come on the show one day. Hardcore Information Man. Peace, one love.
All right, brother. I appreciate you coming up and joining us. Before I move on to the guest of honor, let me say what's up to my man, Mike V in the house. The Natives Dialogue is his brother is in the house, Bay Area and everything like that. We got the wacky world of OTV. What's up, brother? Good to see you here. Earl Owens, good to see you here. Mike V is good to see you here. Queen I Know I Am is in the house. RV, Earl Owens. Everybody is in the house that's coming through. People are coming in and out a little bit at the time. Let me see. And Cobb County cops are the most racist, especially near. Wow. So we got a lot of folks in here.
I ain't mean to cut you off. He ain't lying.
I can believe it. I can believe that. You know, I don't think I would deny that at all. But I want to thank everybody that's in the chat room that's come through. Let me give you all a clap before I go to our guest of honor. Just a little bit of a clap there for you all that have been hanging with us, those that have been from the beginning, those that have come in, come out, come back in. Hey, but you know what you should do? You always know I say this. And we got Fallout. We got my man Flat Out KC, who's in the house as well. And Tiffany Jackson had to leave. She was rocking with us. But y'all need to do me the greatest favor. Share this video in your social media. All of your social media. If you're a content creator, put it in your community tab. Promote. This is how you grow channels as well. Promote. We need to start getting more into the habit of sharing out our videos of people that we enjoy listening to in our social media so that other people can discover the channel and say, hey, I kind of like what they're doing over there. Let me check it out. We should do that for everybody as best as we can. With that said, let me make my man front and center so he can bring us on home and give him a clap as he comes in. Brother Guye Nollywood Jr. Yes, the truth.
Tell the truth.
Good to have you here, brother. A little lightning for you too, a little thunder, all that good stuff. Tell the truth.
Tell the truth.
All right, brother, bring us on home. First of all, I want to thank you again for coming on with me today and it turned out to be a great program. I think we actually put a lot of information out there that people learned from, people engaged, people, it reinforced what people had known. It actually lifted people's ears about things that they probably weren't aware of. We really did a great job of getting into these issues. And I think it was very fitting because we got into the future, we got into history. It was very fitting to the title of the show, to the thumbnail. It speaks volumes. So with that said, brother, you have the floor. Bring us on home.
Well, first I want to say thank you so much for having me. This been I agree with you. This has been a very epic program, and it was definitely well needed. I want to give a big thanks to the chat. I appreciate every last one of y'all. Y'all been very active. Y'all been very supportive, and that's coming from the bottom of my heart. I really appreciate that, man. I just wanted to say just a few things, just to bring some solutions to our problems. And one of the things that I have to say is that learn your history. That's the first thing. Our history is our salvation. Another thing I want to say, also, learn some skills. Learn some skills. The music industry, everybody want to be a rapper, everybody want to be a singer, but learn to be an engineer, learn to be a doctor, learn to be a lawyer. These are the things that will help our people. Learn how to get into stocks. Get into the things that's going to benefit our people, and only for our people. We got to learn to be a selfish race. We have to study our enemy, which is our opponents. We got to learn. We got to study them, and that's how we're going to win. This is chess, not checkers. So we got to be in the game. We got to be in the game. Also, to support Black businesses, support our own. Be a selfish race. Be unapologetic. Don't worry about what white people think or what you're doing. Do not worry about these people. People are going to think they are Black.
Okay, he's back.
Oh, okay.
It froze up for about a minute, but continue, brother.
Okay, sorry. All right. So once people think that you're Black, they already look at you as bad and negative. So anything that you say, or so if you start talking positive, they're gonna have a problem with it. You know what I mean? If you're not talking what they want you to be, then if you're talking what they want you to be, they're gonna think that you're cool. They're gonna think that you because remember, we have to make our enemy. I would say we gotta make our enemy uncomfortable. We're gonna have to make our enemy uncomfortable because everything they do to us is uncomfortable for us. It's humiliating. They don't do things to us to make us comfortable. They do things to make us uncomfortable. So we got to do it back to them. So we gotta, like I said, we gotta also too, we gotta support each other. My brother Bakari, he does a book drive for our babies. So like I said, if anybody that's doing something positive, donate to them. Especially if they really putting in work. So my brother, he does a book drive. He he supports a Black-owned businesses who has for kids and entrepreneurs and business savvy. And this is what he gives us to the parents. And so I donate money to him. People donate to them. So I see the work that he does. So I appreciate Brother Bakari for doing that. So we got to support each other. Like I said, just support, and also too, I wanted to say this. When we dealing with the word love, be very careful with that. Love is very political. When people say you are involved, you're involving their whole family. Okay, you loving their whole family. So marriage, when we're dealing with marriage is very political. It's almost like a business. So when like I said, when something happens to you, you want to make sure you want to marry somebody that looks like you, and you so that generation wealth can continue. So we gotta really master what the word love is. So and again, protect the black family. We gotta protect the black family because the black family is still being under attack. So these are the solutions. It's very simple. I just think these solutions are very simple, and we gotta do whatever as black men to protect our women and children, whatever any means necessary. Like Malcolm X said, any means necessary. So these are the basic solutions that I always have to just want to drop on our people. But thanks again. This is a very epic program. Information Man, I appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. I would love to have you on my panel, and we got to let's continue this. Let's continue building.
We'll definitely continue building, and we'll continue doing this. I want to say peace to Money Boy Femmes is in the house. Joe is in the house here. A lot of folks have come through during the course of the time that we've been on, and I really appreciate them. And Narratives and Dialogues, I got your channel. I subscribe to it, okay? Narratives and Dialogue. This has been a good build today, and I really appreciate you coming on board. So we'll definitely do it again, get back together, all of us, and I think maybe doing this more regularly would be definitely something that would be positive. I definitely look forward to going on to your platform and continuing dialogue as well. And we can just switch it back and forth, however you brothers want to do it. We can go on Hardcore's code program as well. Whatever you brothers feel is sufficient, let's do that and get at it. So
all are invited.
Oh, no problem, brother. So I want to say thank you all for coming on board. It's been a minute. I'll be honest with y'all. I don't do a lot of panel discussions like this. It's been a minute since I've done something like this. I used to do this a lot when I first started off on YouTube. And the reason why, if I do these kind of panels, I have to have intelligent talk and brothers that are on point. And that's why I felt comfortable doing this, because I knew that I'm going to have intelligent talk. This is a better way to do things, and to get on to monkey branch yourself onto these other channels where you don't know what type of buffoon is going to come on the panel and talk to the left field, to the right field, to the every field. And you're like, what is this guy talking about? But when you surround yourself, and I said this on the channel, I said this on somebody's channel, where people that you can't work with, stay the hell away from them. Work with those that you can work with, that you have like-mindedness about, and then come together and push your agenda. Because certainly wasting your time on channels with people that are pushing agendas that you really don't completely agree with, and then you're spending a lot of time arguing with them, is draining, and it's a waste of your time. So therefore, I figure like a superhero clan of people, I want to bring people on that I know got sense about themselves, have a sense of history, and they're not reckless, and they know how to really dialogue in an intelligent manner. Those are the type of brothers and sisters that I'll be bringing onto panels if I start doing more panels again. That's what I'm into. This random jump on a panel, and you get some goofy cartoon mush mouth Negro, but Fat Albert in the game sounding type of dude. Those days are over for me. And that's just a simple facts, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, but it's the truth.
Oh, that's so true. That's so true.
So, but thank you, brother. I just had to say that. And just so you know, you should hopefully have more people have subscribed to your channel. I was pushing your channel through one of my computers. Queen I Know I Am was pushing it heavy. So therefore, hopefully you should have people that you should see an increase in your subscribership and people coming over and things of that nature. So keep doing your thing. And when I have a chance, I'm going to talk to you too, brother, because there's some black sites out there that you should really be promoting a lot of your material. In particular, we've got for example, you got blackpage.com, is a site that you can promote your material. Then you've got one called what is this one right here? WeGotUs.com. WeGotUs.com is a black site where you can you sign up and you make a little profile and you can push your content over there. These are sites, and there's a site that I downloaded on my app called Melanated People, and that's a site that's national, international, and I promote a lot of my content over there. These are some sites that you got to start discovering and looking up sites where black people congregate to promote your content and pull yourself more subscribers and people who would like to check out with what you're doing. So these sites are out there. You just have to Google and find out the different sites and platforms. There's also BlackNet, which is another site that you can promote your content on. Then there's BlackNet TV. It's sort of like they're using the same template as Black Junction TV, where you can upload your videos, you can upload them, or you can bring over YouTube videos to upload videos and get your content watched over there. I'm also a member of Black Junction TV. I support Brother Youssef in his program over there. I'll give you another example before I leave. Here you got a situation, brother, where you got Brother Youssef, who has Black Junction TV, and a lot of black people will say, I wish we had our own, I would support it. Well, I interviewed Brother Youssef a couple of years ago. I know the brother. I have ways to get in contact with him. And the question that people said on the show is, how can you improve it? How can you we want live streaming, brother, because live streaming is where it's at. And he was honest. He says that live streaming takes a lot of bandwidth, as you already know. And he says, in order for me to bring you live streaming, I need black people to continue supporting Black Junction TV because it's going to cost me money. He said that the reason why I don't have a lot of money is because I'm not taking corporate money. And unlike YouTube, if I take corporate money, then black people can't say what they really want to say on my platform without being censored. If Youssef cuts a big deal with corporations, then the corporations are going to say, we don't like that and we don't like that. Get rid of him. Right? So because he's not taking corporate money, it's taking longer to get Black Junction TV where it should be, because why? Black people don't support it like they should. He said to us very clearly, if you support the channel, now I give him $10 a month to support his channel, to support what he's doing. He told me, if you support what I'm doing, I can get you live streaming over there. But because black people are not supporting it, I think a year ago he was talking about in 2020 that he may have to shut it down because black people are not supporting. Now, when I upload videos over there, and you don't get a lot of views, and I know why, because black people are not watching Black Junction TV. Black people are over here on YouTube, and I get it. We like the shiny toy of YouTube. I get it. But the reason, so for anybody who has negative things to say about Black Junction TV and, why is it not like YouTube? It's not like that because black people are not giving it enough support. And that's why it's not growing like it should. He also has blackjunction.com, which is like a little Facebook type of. So you can sign up on that and you can drop your videos over there and you'll get people that'll watch your stuff on there too. So this is why I say that black people, as much as we cry and say we want black businesses and we want black this and black that, sometimes when somebody presents it to us, we cry and whine and we say, well, it ain't like YouTube. It don't got all the bells and whistles. When YouTube first hit the scene, YouTube didn't have live streaming. YouTube originally was a damn dating site originally. People don't even know that. Originally, it was before they went into videos, it was a dating site or some type of site where you can get with women, right? But when YouTube first started out, they didn't have no live streaming. They had no bells and whistles. They had bare minimum shit. And now it's what it is today because why? Because black folks and many people support it. Well, if you got a black man who has a site and he's trying to grow it, it is not going to get to what YouTube is until you allow it to blow up over time. But you know, it's a shame that it's like that. It really is a shame, but it is what it is. That's my soapbox for tonight, everybody. Thank you for coming over and joining the program. Makem, let me say peace to you, Makem. I didn't get a chance to say hi to Makem Report. Makem, are you back on YouTube? Are you doing YouTube videos again? Because you know I like your content, Makem, that you put out before. And I know you kind of stopped and you start doing more stuff on the Twitter. But Makem, I want you, sister, to I want you to start doing more content again like you did. I hope you are again. Another thing too, you can I want to say this to Hard Cold and you as well, and Brother Bacardi. Don't make YouTube your only platform that you use to get your message out. Get involved in podcasting. I'm a podcaster as well. I'm on TuneIn. I'm on Spotify, iHeartRadio. So get your message out in traditional podcasting. Get your message out on YouTube. Join other platforms where you can get your message out. I'm on Haps TV, which allows me to broadcast into every form of social media that I got simultaneously for free. So get on as many mediums. Take advantage of all mediums, because if they shut you down on YouTube, then you have other places that you can go to put forth your message. So take advantage of all platforms and push the envelope. So I'll leave you all with that. I thank you, brothers. Brother Guye Nollywood Jr., we're going to do it again. Hard Cold, we're going to do it again. Brother Bacardi, we're going to do it again. Everybody in the audience, we're going to do it again. I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. I'm tired. I'm hungry, but it's been a great stream. So thank you, brothers.
Thank you.
Everybody is fantastic. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to take front and center now. Guy, I'll be in contact with you, and I'll be going over to your channel and supporting. And wait a minute. Hard Cold, when are you going live again, brother?
I was planning on doing it this weekend, but something happened here, so this machine is running. I don't know if you heard. That's what you were hearing in the background.
Okay.
So, hopefully they can get done with that. Might do about it next weekend.
All right, brother. I will support you when you go live. And if this is before you go, is there a video? If I was to go to your channel right now, is there a video that you would recommend me to watch and many other people in the chat room? Hard Cold.
Yeah, I would say I would recommend the the very well received Tariq Nasheed Behind the Con video. That's the one I would recommend. That reveals a whole lot.
Okay. All right.
I just want to say one more thing. I am doing a live tomorrow called Handpicked Coons. So they'll be talking about what Kodak Black and Little Nas X. I want to definitely touch on those guys tomorrow. So that's tomorrow at 5:00. So
okay,
please definitely tune in on that.
I plan on my second channel because I'm going real strong over there now. I think I'm going to get on a topic about eventually about the liberals. White liberals are the most dangerous white supremacists. The white liberals are actually more dangerous.
Oh yeah,
because of the fact that they portray themselves as our friend, but they're actually more dangerous. And then they get their black buck dancers and their black house, you know what, to do their bidding for them. Anytime Simone Sanders is tackling people to protect Joe Biden, his Skeletor ass, and then she doesn't get the job that she really wanted, which was to be the press secretary, and then she's sitting up here or getting on articles crying about how she wanted the job, and Sanders, I think the other lady or whatever her name is, about to quit after this year. You got black folks that are caping for his agenda. This is how these white racist liberals get over on us because they have black folks doing their bidding. Should I say the Black Do Nothing Caucus?
Facts.
And then you get the black TV and news personalities. They get all the clout and money and support, who are leading our black folks in the dark of the night. This is very dangerous. Very dangerous.
So
and we
true.
got black folks that's following this little fairy tale that white liberals are so good. Look at your man, Bill Maher, who brags about having a black girlfriend or black wife. Bill Maher is one of the biggest he pushes the biggest white supremacy, and he talks this good game on his show, which I stopped watching that garbage a long time ago.
Me too.
Then you've got Uncle, you got Uncle Ben's what's that? Doctor, what's that doctor? He's the Negro doctor that always comes on CNN and MSNBC when they need a black Dr. Dyson, Michael Dyson, Eric Dyson, who got up there when Joe Biden got elected and he put Kamala Harris as his vice president. He got up there saying he did it. He did everything that black folks needed. Oh, Joe Biden has paid it forward. What are you talking about, Eric Dyson? He paid it forward. Paid for it what? He has a black woman who, depending on what day of the week it is, she's either Asian one day, black this day, and then you're hearing all this mess about her office isn't a mess. You're hearing all this mess that there's a lot of mess in her office that she manages within her presidency as vice president. So we got these type of Negroes on television broadcasters who people think speak for the black community. And then another thing, I have a bone to pick with him because this is a Negro who acts like he's a Renaissance man when it comes to rap music. And I'm saying to myself, I was into rap music and breakdancing back in the late 70s and early 80s, and I don't remember any goddamn Michael Dice. He was nowhere in the goddamn picture. But yet he gets up there and says a few rap words. And so what I'm saying is we got these type of black people who have degrees that we respect at one point in time. And then when they expose themselves as a buck dancer, you have to pull away from them.
Right.
But they're the black people that are chosen to be on television to speak for us when they're not really for us. It makes no sense. Right. So anyway, everybody, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for coming over once again. Peace, brothers.
Peace out. Too bad Atlanta didn't pull it off.
All right, brothers, take care. That was later, y'all. This was this was something else tonight. I don't know what to say or what I should be doing, but this was something else tonight. Let me put something else back up on here. And man, I hope you all liked the program tonight, liked the discussion and everything that was said. Let me know if you all liked everything that was said tonight. The brothers were in high form tonight. A lot of truth was spoken. I must say a lot of truth. Let me put this up here if I could. Maybe this will work out. I don't know. No. I don't want that right there. But I do want to put this right here. A lot of truth was spoken tonight. A lot of truth. And I hope you all enjoyed some of that truth that was spoken. So everybody, I want you to have a good night. I'm going to get ready to get on out of here. I appreciate everyone who came over and joined the program tonight, joined in on the conversation in the chat room. You all are all the best. I really appreciate that. All that you have done to support a brother's channel, to let a brother know that you appreciate a brother, because I really appreciate you all in the chat room and those that are watching from afar right now. I really appreciate that. And let me just say that to RY, thank you. Queen, I know you are. I am. Thank you. Narratives and Dialogue, I have subscribed to you. Earl Owens, thank you for being here. Everyone that came in, Brother Bakari, Thank you. Hard Code again. Thank you. And brother Guye Nollywood Jr. Thank you again for coming on over. Brother Money Boy Fims came in. Tanya, everybody that's come in, thank you. But it's time for me to get on out of here now and make it do what I can make it do. So with that said, ladies and gentlemen, let's just say it's time to get on out of here. Peace.
I don't know if I'm okay. I don't see the light of day. Looking up to higher ground, thinking that'll be a sweet escape. These days gotta schedule the romance.
Peace to everybody.
Say love is a slow dance. A short bike ride to the crib using no hands. Oh shit, it feel like I'm floating, but I'm falling with both eyes closed when I let the world spin. Testing the water, she got my nerves tense. Back when I ain't even have a purpose, I was so eager to learn some things. Anxiety bring out the worst in me. Society paint me as enemy. My niggas making it by that remedy. I'm more occasional, don't do it regularly. Backs under my eyes, waiting. Mama been worried, the devil allegedly deep in the plan. Subconsciously wanted it since I was 10. I thought I was sharp on my scroll and my pen thinking dead. So mama found shit of them legs. She told me that's not who I am. But nowadays I put on for the fam, see her when I can. I'm surrounded by my feelings, I'm stuck on a Ferris wheel. I bet I perish with 140 acres. She want the horse and the carriage, a porcelain portion of garbage. I talk to the mirror, I know that life's not the fairest. I lost my can, I can't pay off the bills with the blessing. I'm sure I relate to the Reddit page. It's feeling like money is everything. Money is everything. It's everything I need. Till I lay my eyes on you. I don't know what this is, yeah, but it feel like it's real, baby.
Thank you, everybody.
I just wanna come clear, wanna see you again.
Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
When all day you've been on your feet, when you get in a back rub and the night just releases, when you've been on a strict diet and the day comes to cheating, when you let your head down when it's been up all day, when you're lost mentally and take Stay after you meditate.
Let me stop the presses. We got Nikki Fine, Nikki Love. What's going on, Nikki Love Entertainment? What's going on, sister? I'm glad to see you over here. I went by your channel the other. I know you haven't been live on there in a little while, but it's good to see you over here. Thank you for coming over, dear sister. Good to see you. Got that big old bubble that you're blowing on the avatar there. I like that. Nikki Love.
So damn hard to find. That's how I know. That's how I know I found real love. That's how I know. That's how I know I found love. That's how I know I hit the jackpot. Girl, I know I found love. I feel it in my yeah. Baby girl, your gut don't lie. You better trust that feeling. It don't lie. That's how I know.
Yes, Lord. It's been a great show today. Good night, everybody. I'll be back on soon on the second channel, the Information Man Speaks podcast. I've got so many exciting topics I want to get into on that channel. What's up? It's been a great show today, folks. I enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to me on all the social medias, baby. Yeah. The truth. Peace, everybody. Right on, everybody. Good night. Take care. Love y'all. Peace.